And welcome everybody to Campus Nation, the Ohio College football game of the week. Of course, you can follow all of today's action at www.campusnation.com or go to YouTube and just type in Campus Nation. We are here today at the beautiful Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, where Malone University plays their home games. And of course, I'm joined by my colleague Chuck Hale and Rick Phillips. And Chuck, it's kind of like the Graceland of football here, looking over the Hall of Fame and the backdrop, and really a beautiful facility here for football.
Yeah, it really is. I'll tell you, the addition of this new stadium here, this new facility, is really energized this area, and as if there already was enough excitement around football around this town.
Yep.
This just adds to it.
Yeah, and today's matchup will have Malone University in the Great Mid-American Conference, and Hillsdale, also of that conference, will be matching up. Malone is 1-2, and Hillsdale is 3-1. And they have a common opponent, Chuck. When we look at it, they both played Lake Erie College, who's in the GMAC, and they beat them by similar scores. So by score, we would think that we're going to have a pretty good football game today.
Yeah, that's right. Again, it's always tough to get a good read off a common opponent, but that's all we have to look at today. Again, both teams have, really had a decent start to the season. Malone does come in 1-2, but two tough losses, and Hillsdale comes in with a better record. Again, they are 2-0 in the GMAC and 3-1 overall, like you mentioned. So,
right.
Again, both teams are looking to get good things going here and continue their season as they drive towards a GMAC championship.
Sure. Hillsdale is led by veteran head coach Keith Otterbein in his 17th year at Hillsdale. Coach Otterbein has an overall record of 101 wins and 79 losses. As Chuck said, the Chargers are 3-1 overall, but they are, more importantly, 2-0 in their conference, which gets an automatic bid to the NCAA should they win that. They opened the season with a non-conference win over Mercyhurst of Erie, PA, followed by a tough non-conference loss against a former rival when they were in the GLIAC, which would be Michigan Tech. They lost 31-30 to Tech. And then in the GMAC opener, they beat at that time, the number 12 ranked team in Division II, which was Ohio Dominican. And then last week, they dropped the Lake Erie Storm 41-7.
That's right, and I believe Ohio Dominican was picked to win the GMAC this year. So, again, to be able to knock off the predicted champion early in the season, really bodes well for Hillsdale.
Yeah. And Chuck, what about Malone?
Well, Malone is led by third-year head coach Fred Thomas. They were 1-9 last season, but Coach Thomas, kind of a Stark County legend, he's coached a lot of football in this area at both the high school and collegiate level, and again, they're really looking for him to be able to get things going in the right direction. The Pioneers started their season off. They had a tough loss to Concordia, 42-27, but then they followed that up with a 42-12, just ambush to the Lake Erie Storm. And we got to look at Lake Erie a couple weeks ago, and we know that they're not the most complete football team, but again, very certainly a decent team. And again, last week they lost 44-38 in a shootout against GMAC opponent Kentucky Wesleyan, which, again, from what all reports, sounds like that was just a heck of a football game.
Right.
As far as, the series, Hillsdale does lead the series 3-0, and they won last year's game 45-7.
Okay. And for Hillsdale, as a team, statistically, they are averaging we've got the national anthem here. Should we open the... And, of course, Chuck, if we had dropped those mics out that window, it would have been a long ways down there. So we are on the 7th floor of this beautiful new stadium. And what a view, Chuck, of a football game. You couldn't ask for a better seat as far as seeing a game.
No, that's right. Just from our viewpoint, looks like there's not really a bad seat in this stadium. And like we talked about, the NFL has really gone out of their way to improve this facility, and really a nice shot in the arm for the Canton area.
And you got to believe at some point that the east end zone here will probably have bleachers too as they enclose this, and they play the Hall of Fame football game here, so they could probably put 80,000 seats in here, and for that one particular date, they would be able to fill it. As far as Hillsdale, they are averaging 392 yards per game. 125 of that comes via the ground. 267 pass, and they are averaging 29.8 points per game. The defense is allowing 363 yards per game. They are allowing 131 on the ground, 231 in the air, and they are giving up an average of 16.3 points per game.
Team stats for Malone coming in, they are averaging 35.7 points per game, 360.3 total offensive yards, 142 of that coming on the ground, of course 218 through the air. Total points allowed, they're averaging almost 33 points a game and allowing 392 yards per game, 181 on the ground, and 210 through the air.
Okay, so that takes us to the keys for the game. And, Chuck, what does Malone have to do to be able to come out on top today?
Well, Malone's going to have to be able to run the football, Bill. Again, they're currently ranked second in the GMAC, but, the Chargers are also ranked second in defense. So, again, they're really going to have to be able to run the football and help keep Hillsdale off the field. We've also got to avoid predictable throwing situations. They can't end up in second and third and long. So, again, good run gains on first down and second down will help avoid that. But also they've got to get pressure on the very good Hillsdale quarterback, four-year starter Chance Stewart, and they need to try to force him into making some mistakes. Yeah,
and we know from the stats when Hillsdale was playing Ohio Dominican, they were able to get 5 interceptions. So a combination of a good pass rush and obviously some good secondary personnel could make it tough on Malone. For Hillsdale, they need to force Malone into throwing, and they're ranked second in the conference, as I said, in defense, which they may be able to do that. And then they're also second in interceptions in the league, so they're an opportunistic defensive team. They need to continue to force turnovers as they've been doing. And I think although they have a great quarterback there, they need to balance it between the air attack and the ground attack. And if they can do that with consistency, they should be able to do well today. Okay, let's take a look at the starting lineups. Chuck, the Malone offense will be led by?
Starting quarterbacks, number 11, DeAndre Clayton. He's a redshirt sophomore. Lined up in the backfield will be number 5, Keon Singleton. Also, number 45, Matt Blaziola will get a lot of time back there as well. And the slot will be lined up number 17, Dakota Hobbs. At the tight end will be number 87, Jeremy Gorby, a 6'4", 250-pound junior. And the wide receiving core is led by number 19, Ashton Doolin. He's a 6'2", 210-pound senior, and getting some at least some notice around the country.
Yes.
Also at wide receiver, number 23, James Jackson, a 6'1", 175-pound junior. And up front for Malone University at left tackles, number 77, Zach Hill. He goes 6'4", 320. Left guard is Israel Moore, goes 6'3", 300. They're anchored in the middle by their center, number 56, J.D. Stamper. He's a 6'2", 300-pound senior. The right guard is Blake Carey, a 6'2", 280-pound redshirt junior. And the right tackle is big number 74, and that's Matt Gouverman, and he's a redshirt junior, and he's 6'4", 335, so I don't want to mispronounce his name too many times.
Yeah, for sure. So taking a look at the Hillsdale defense, which will be going up against that offense, they're led by defensive coordinator Craig Blanchard. Number 55, Kyle Perrin, he is a redshirt freshman. At defensive end, he's averaging 2 tackles per game. And on the other side is number 97 all-conference performer Zach Van Valkenburg, the sophomore. Zach has 5.8 tackles per game from his defensive end position, 4 sacks, and 5.5 TFLs. On the interior defensive line, you've got number 99, Joe Royer, the redshirt freshman, 2.5 tackles per game with half a sack and half a TFL. His running mate on the inside, so to speak, is number 50, Nate Canterbury, a junior, 4.5 tackles per game, half a sack, and 1.5 TFLs. In the middle, it's patrolled by a combination of 2 players. Number 45, Jay Rose, a junior, he's averaging 9.3 tackles per game, and he has 4.5 TFLs. He's backed up by number 5, Nate Jones, who's also a junior. He has 2.5 tackles per game and 2 TFLs. You'll see those guys, Chuck, switch in and out from what I understand. The star linebacker, their outside linebacker, is number 1, Merrick Canada, a junior. He averages 5.8 tackles per game, 1 sack, and 3 TFLs. At the will linebacker is number 40, Dan Shanley, a junior. He's averaging 5.8 tackles per game, 2 TFLs, and 1 interception. At strong safety, number 20, Wyatt Batdorf, a senior, 8.5 tackles per game and 2 interceptions. At free safety, number 39, Drake Temple, the junior. He's averaging 5.3 tackles per game, 1 interception for a 70-yard return, and 1 block kick. The cornerbacks are number 14, Michael Valdez, a redshirt freshman, averaging a tackle and a half a game, and number 4, Carter Wilson, a senior, averaging 3.5 tackles per game and half a TFL. One thing, Chuck, to note that the Hillsboro defense seems to alternate in a lot of players looking at the tackles and how evenly they're distributed. Their second 11 has quite a few tackles, so they obviously get a lot of people on the field.
Yeah, that's right. And like we talked about, Malone's going to have to be able to run the football a lot and try to wear that down because, again, like you said, there's a lot of players going in and out on defense for Hillsdale.
Okay, and so let's hop over to the offense for Hillsdale. And on offense, it starts with number 8, Chance Stewart, the senior quarterback. He's completing 63% of his passes, 72 completions on 111 attempts, 979 yards, 7 TD passes, and he has 69 yards rushing with a touchdown. At tailback, they have number 23, David Graham, the junior, 74 carries, 271 yards, 5 TDs. He's also caught 5 passes for 57 yards. The H-back is number 2, Austin Sandusky, a senior. Austin has 9 catches for 177 yards and 2 TDs. You may see these backs in the backfield again on a rotational basis. Number 6, Brendan Mikesell, the redshirt freshman. Number 89, Drew Zwires, the senior, 6 catches, 49 yards and TD. And number 28, C. Shepler, the junior. He has 15 carries for 77 yards and TD. At wide receiver, All-American number 82, Trey Brock, the senior, 14 catches, 190 yards, and 1 TD. Number 18, Connor Maloney, the sophomore, 22 catches, 339 yards, and 1 TD. The tight end is split between number 35, John Brennan, the senior, and number 85, Martin Peterson, the sophomore. Brennan has 4 catches for 66 yards, and Peterson has 4 receptions for 70 yards and a TD. Up front, at left tackle, number 78, Matt Conkle, the junior, 6'5", 290 pounds. His running mate next to him at left guard is number 79, Jacob Thompson, the redshirt freshman, 6'4", 299 pounds. At center, number 64, Drew Callahan, the senior, 6'5", 305. He is getting some NFL interest. At right guard, number 58, Mitchell Albert, the junior, 6'2", 285. And rounding out the offensive line, right tackle, number 76, Brandon Hill, the redshirt freshman, 6'4", 280 pounds. Chuck, what about the Malone defense?
So the defensive starters for Malone, first off, they're led by defensive coordinator Zach Arrington. At the rush end is number 15, Arrington Doolin. He's a sophomore, 6'3", 255. He's averaging 4 tackles per game, 2.5 tackles for loss, and has a sack and a half on the year. At the other end is number 35. That's Matt Ramsey. And again, Matt Ramsey is a senior, and he goes 6'3", 250. On the inside is number 93, Albert Phillips. He's a senior. He's also got 1.5 sacks and 1 fumble recovery on the year. The other inside man is the nose tackle, number 52, Nate Sudbury. He's a sophomore. The inside linebacker, the middle linebacker, is number 50, Malone Slaughter. Again, he is just a freshman, but goes 5'11", 240, so you know he is going to pack a load there in the middle. The outside linebackers at Sam is number 1, Christian Matthews. He's a redshirt junior. He's got 2.7 tackles per game and half a tackle for loss on the season. At the will linebacker is DeWaylen Washington. He's a sophomore. He's got 7 tackles on the season, 1.5 tackles for loss. The free safety is number 20, Jalen Doss, a sophomore. The strong safety is number 2, Lamont Matheson. He's a redshirt junior. And at corner is number 53, number 3, DeLacy Bass. He is a freshman. And the other corner is number 7, Key Beckham. He's a redshirt junior. And again, those are your defensive starters for the Malone Pioneers.
Okay. And so if we look at the GMAC standings here, we've got Hillsdale in a tie for first with Tiffin at 2-0 in the conference. Malone is at 1-1, tied with Ohio Dominican, Findlay, and Kentucky Wesleyan. In the Mountain East Conference, I'm going to bring them up as we cover a lot of Urbana University games. Urbana moved to 3-1 in the conference, 4-1 overall, with a shocking upset of the University of Charleston, 20-14 this last Thursday. So congratulations to the Blue Knights, and we'll be there next Saturday for their game with University of Virginia Wise. So we've got the coin toss. And Chuck, let's run down a couple football games here. We got about 2 minutes before the kickoff, and let's look at some local action, of course, that's going to go on today.
Sure. So in the GMAC, we have Alderson Broadus traveling to Ohio Dominican. Findlay makes the trip over to Lake Erie College. Walsh travels down to Kentucky Wesleyan. And Tiffin travels to Wayne State. And in the SIAC, which again, we bring you some coverage of that conference as well, you've got Lane at Tuskegee. Miles is at Albany State. Allen's at Clark Atlanta. Central State travels to Benedict. Morehouse travels to Kentucky State. And Virginia University Lynchburg is at Fort Valley State. And some Mountain East action, again, like Bill already mentioned, the Thursday night game, Urbana traveled to the University of Charleston and came out with a 20-14 victory. Some other Mountain East action, West Virginia State travels to Glenville State. Fairmont State is at University of Virginia Wise. West Virginia Wesleyan is at St. Francis. West Liberty travels to Notre Dame College. And Concord is at Shepherd. And some action around the Heartland Conference. Mount St. Joseph is at Bluffton. Again, we've seen Mount St. Joseph a couple times this year. Might get to see him a bit more. And
right.
Again, we'll be at Bluffton the final game of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Anderson is at Hanover. Rose-Hulman Institute travels to Franklin. And Earlham is at Manchester. And, of course, in the OAC, we have Mount Union travels to Columbus to face Otterbein. Heidelberg goes to Wilmington. John Carroll is at Muskingum. Ohio Northern is at Marietta. And Baldwin-Wallace makes the trip to Columbus and faces Capital.
Okay.
And in some junior college action of note, we have the Haywood Academy is playing down at Hocking today, down at Hocking College.
Okay, Chuck, we're about ready for the kickoff here. We'll pick you up on some Big Ten and national scene games of interest here, and as we have time.
All right, so Hillsdale set to kick off. The kicker is number 19, Joe Phillip. He's a 6'1", 196-pound sophomore.
And back deep would be, I imagine, it'll be Ashton Doolin, the deep man, who is averaging quite a few yards per carry, Chuck. I think he's right around 25 yards per kickoff return, and he has 2 for touchdowns, and it is right. Ashton Doolin.
Yep, Doolin fields it at about the 4. Takes it up the numbers, now cuts it inside, cuts across the field. He might have an angle there, Bill.
He does. He's over to 40, up to the 50 where he's knocked out of bounds.
All right, and we got a little flag tacked onto the end there, so probably going to be another 15 to, just to help the Pioneers out here. It's going to be 1st and 10, and pretty darn good field position.
And like we talked about before, Chuck, we joke about it every week, but every kick this year there is something going on.
Yeah, that's right. We've had a lot of laundry. And
yep. Okay, so the defense is out there for Hillsdale, and here comes the Malone offense, and my partner Chuck Hale with the call for the Malone Pioneers.
All right, so again, DeAndre Clayton is the general for the Malone Pioneers as he leads them onto the field there.
Of course.
And they're going to be in a 4 wide receiver set. They're going to have 3 receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. Little pistol formation in the backfield. Looks like the back is Singleton lined up behind Clayton. Clayton gets the snap, fakes it to Singleton, throws to the left flat. And it's complete. Looks like it's number
Ashton Duell and number 19.
Ashton Duell, and no surprise there.
Nope.
And he picks up about 3, and it's going to be 2nd, and we'll call it a long 6 now.
Nice pursuit by
yard line.
Nice pursuit by the Hillsdale defense, Chuck, as they converged on that screen pretty quickly.
Yeah, you're right, Bill. Again, that's a good way to shut that down. So now we have an H-back in the backfield lined up now as, again, we still have the pistol formation behind Clayton. Clayton gives this time. It's a Singleton. Singleton off the left tackle.
Wow. Nice run by Singleton.
Yeah, just keeps his legs moving, and he's got a first down and a lot more. He's going to take it all the way down to the 17-yard line, where it'll be 1st and 10 now for the Pioneers.
And on the tackle was number 40, Dan Shanley, for the Chargers. Hillsdale's dressed in their white jerseys with blue pants, blue tops, and the San Diego Charger lightning bolt on their helmets.
I thought that was the Hillsdale Charger lightning bolt.
Well, I guess it is.
All right, so again, 1st and 10 now for the Pioneers. Again, Pioneers.
I think it was copied. Is I guess where my point is with that.
You think the Chargers copied it?
Yeah, I do. They got it from Hillsdale.
So 4 wide set now. Again, motion now in the backfield. And this time Clayton's going to keep it up the middle, and he's not going to get very much. Might even lose a yard there. He's going to go to 2nd and 11 now for the Pioneers.
Yeah, number 45, the middle linebacker, Jay Rose, was right there to meet Clayton as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage. Nice job filling the inside gaps by the Hillsdale defense.
Yeah, it really was. Playing good, sound, gap control football there.
And Chuck, number 97, who we talked about, Zach Van Valkenburg, the defensive end, he is like a Joey Boza when he comes off the edge there.
Yeah, hard to contain. So 5 wide receiver look, no one in the backfield. But Clayton gets rid of it quickly over the middle on a quick slant. It's going to be complete for a first down all the way down to the 6-yard line. It'll now be 1st and goal for the Pioneers from the 6-yard line.
He was dragged down by Drake Temple, number 39, the free safety, and number 40, Dan Shanley, the outside linebacker. So an impressive drive at this point for Malone, Chuck.
Yeah, that's right. So, again, another 4 wide receiver look, 3 to the top, 1 to the bottom. Now the back readjusts, lines up to the right of Clayton.
Ooh.
Clayton's going to carry it over the left side. He's going to be hit, but falls forward. Still alive there, and now they're finally going to blow it dead. He's able to get it down to about the 1.5-yard line.
Forward progress down to the 1. Van Valkenburg was underneath on that. And what Clayton did that was impressive, Chuck, is he rode the wave, so to speak. As the defensive line started to build a wall to the right side, Clayton just kept on like tapping him on the back and moving down towards the goal line.
Yeah, that's right, just finding his hole there.
Yep.
All right, so another 5 wide look here as Singleton splits out to the top of the formation. And again, Clayton all by himself in the backfield, maybe a quarterback draw here.
Yep.
There's
and
snap,
sure enough,
it is a draw. Clayton just to the left of the center.
Clayton
falls in. It's going to be a touchdown.
And Clayton pounds it in there. So nice drive by the Pioneers, 50-yard drive to start out the game.
Yeah,
and
that's right. So 11:47 to go in the first quarter. Right now, your score: Malone 6, Hillsdale 0.
Excited homecoming crowd here, and the Pioneers start out strong. And Chuck, that's what they needed to do because that's the best way to control the Hillsdale offense is to keep them off the field.
That's exactly right. So Marcus Moeller in to attempt the PAT. The kick is up, and it is good. So again, 11:47 to go here in your first quarter. Malone Pioneers 7, Hillsdale Chargers 0.
So as we look at that first drive, Chuck, some impressions on what you saw with Malone's attack on that and being able to drive it down.
Well, I think the up tempo really worked well for them. Again, Hillsdale kind of got back on their heels, and Malone just wouldn't let them off the hook. And really a nice drive for the Pioneers to start off the game.
A good run by Keon Singleton and the running of quarterback DeAndre Clayton really. Hillsdale didn't really have an answer for it on that drive, at least.
Yeah, that's right. But they also mixed in some nice passes. They were able to find Ashton Doolin there in the flat on one, and a nice slant over the middle on another. So, again, put them in good position, and good play calling there got them to the quick 7-0 lead.
So back deep for Hillsdale, we've got number 2, Austin Sandusky, the senior, averaging 25.7 yards per return, and number 23, David Graham, who has 1 return this year for 21 yards.
All right, of course, Marcus Moeller, the kicker for the Pioneers, set to kick off.
So the upcoming kickoff, 11:47 to go in the first quarter.
Kick is away.
And it looks like it's going to be number 2, Austin Sandusky. He's up over to 20, out to about the 22-yard line, and that's where Hillsdale will start with the ball. Hillsdale is, of course, led by number 8, Chance Stewart, the senior quarterback, with 979 yards this year and 7 touchdown passes, an effective thrower, and his favorite target is number 82, Trey Brock, the senior, number 82.
Yeah, why wouldn't you want to throw to Trey Brock?
I agree with you. Number 23 is in the backfield to the left of Stewart. 1 receiver to the left, 2 to the right. They motion the H-back on a bounce motion, and they give it to Graham, and Graham wedges it not for very much, Chuck, only maybe a yard out to about the 24-yard line.
Yeah, not a lot there. The D-line by Malone really collapsed quickly and closed that hole up. So, again, good gap control here on first down.
And it looks like it'll be a quick offense here for Hillsdale also. So they go to a double tight set with splits to both sides. And Stewart goes under center with Graham in the backfield. And, of course, we'll see here, not have seen Hillsdale yet to this point, but it's Graham, and the Malone defense is up to the task as they drive him down for, it looks like, virtually no gain.
Yeah, that's right. They did a really nice job stretching that out bill to the sideline and just not giving him anywhere to run.
And as we talked about in keys for Malone to win this game, stopping the run was one of the things, is that they're going to have to force Hillsdale to throw the ball, and we're going to probably see that right here.
Yeah, that's right. They forced it into a 3rd and long right here. So
2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right, back offset to the left of Stewart. Stewart looks it over, motions his H-back in a little bit of a bounce motion, and Stewart drops. He looks, gets a little bit of pressure, throws to the middle of the field, and who else but number 82, Trey Brock, the All-American receiver, and Brock went up for that one, Chuck, coming down about the 42-yard line.
Yeah, I did, and I'll tell you, number 3, DeLacy Bass, the cornerback, has a big assignment today for a freshman to try to cover that young man.
Yeah. Hillsdale goes quick, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. The back sets to the right, and they give it play action, and it's the number 82 again, Trey Brock, on a quick slant, and he picks up about 4 yards.
Yeah, that's right. Again, number 10, DeWaylen Washington, finally able to bring him down, but not before he was able to pick up about 4 yards.
Yeah, and they apparently, they're going to go to the no huddle. They're going to get up there, Chuck, and run it. And they've been running a lot of double tight with 2 splits, and the back set to the right or left of the quarterback, Stewart. So Stewart gets ready, looking at 2nd and 6. They give it to Graham. Ooh. And great play. I don't know who the defensive tackle is.
52, Nate Sudbury, the nose tackle there. And again, just drove the blocker back into the backfield and eliminated any possibility of getting any yard.
It looked like a Super Ball bouncing off him on that one.
It really did.
So we're looking at 3rd and 7 for the Chargers. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. The H-back up to the right in front of Graham. And as we've seen before, a little bounce motion, which is left to right. Stewart drops. He looks. And wow, And he threw. That was a. Now I don't know if that was underthrown intentionally or that was just a great throw, Chuck. But a sliding catch at about the 12-yard line, and Trey Brock again. But it almost looked like they knew because of the coverage they had to go low and underneath on that.
Yeah, that's right. DeLacy Bass was over top on that, and you're right. He had absolutely no chance to make a play on that ball. So if that wasn't intentional, that was sure a great accident.
It was a great act. Yeah, it sure was. So we've got double tights with wings on both left and right. Graham in the backfield. And Graham goes off to his left. He's over to 10, down to the 6, over to 5, just inside the 5-yard line. Nice gain on first down.
Yeah, really nice leg drive there, Bill, to get the ball going, keep it moving.
And really the best run by Hillsdale to this point, Chuck, because the Pioneers have been up to the task in stopping the run so far.
Yeah, that's right. I think that might be their first, maybe not their first positive, but certainly their first gain of over 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah.
So now the I.
So Brock to the right, I formation. Stewart under center, pitches it to Graham. Graham slices off, just gets back to the line of scrimmage. So they're going to be looking at 3rd and 3 from the goal, or 3rd and goal from the 5.
Yeah, that's right. And I think that might have been the safety number 2, Lamont Matheson, playing up in the box there, and they were able to chop him down before he gets back to the line of scrimmage.
So Hillsdale slows it down a little bit now that they're down in the red zone. So Brock splits to the left. So we've got 2 wide to the left. We've got 2 tight to the right. They motion across left to right with the slot. And Stewart drops. He looks. He steps up and drops it off to who else but Trey Brock, and that was the Trey Brock drive on that, Chuck.
Yeah, it was, and I'll tell you, Brock did a nice job of finding the hole in that zone and just sitting down and ready to get the ball when it came. And nice job there by Hillsdale to find the open man for the touchdown.
And in for the extra point is the kicker, number 19, Joe Phillips. He's 3 of 4 on field goals with long of 34, and he's 12 of 14 on extra points this year. And just like that, Chuck, with 6:57 to go in the first quarter, it is 7-6 in favor of Malone. Phillips adds the extra point, and we've got a tie at 7-7. So a good ball game, Chuck.
Yeah, it sure is. Again, both teams able to come out on their opening drive and punch one in. So again, 6:57 to go here in the first, and we're all knotted up at 7.
Trey Brock was one of the players that we were tipped off to that is being looked at by the NFL as a late-round draft choice. And we can see that with that drive as he really had 4 big catches for the Chargers during that drive.
Yeah, that's right. Reminiscent of another great Division II player, Adam Thielen, that is making a lot of noise right now for the Minnesota Vikings. So, again, there definitely is a path from here to the NFL if you've got the talent and the ability to take it.
And as we mentioned, for Malone, Ashton Doolin, who's back deep here on this kickoff return, is also being considered as a late-round draft choice for the NFL. So we've got a couple NFL prospects to add a little bit more interest to this game.
That's right.
And number 19, Joe Phillips, gets ready to kick off. And we will see the and that looks like it's number 20. That's a little pooch kick.
Yeah, trying to avoid kicking it to Dolan.
Yeah, and they didn't want up over to 7 or 30, out to the 35-yard line.
It's number 17, Dakota Hobbs, I believe. And you're right, Bill gets it up to the 35. So that's where the Pioneers will take over 1st and 10 and see if they can answer the opening score by Hillsdale.
Okay, so
just a reminder, while we're waiting to get back to the action, you are joining us on campusnation.com or on our broadcast partner, WZAA 106.9, Jeffersonville, Ohio. All right, so 1st and 10 now, and another 4-wide look receiver for the Pioneers. A pistol backfield.
4-2-5 look for Hillsdale's defense.
All right, now the back shifts to the left and throw it to the left flat. It's complete to Doolin, but Doolin is hit immediately and going to be driven back. It's actually going to be a loss of about, we'll call it a loss of about 1.5 with the forward progress. So that's going to bring up 2nd, and we'll call it a long 11 now.
Yep. Number 10, Jason McDonough, the junior, smelled that out for the Chargers right away. As soon as he saw that setting up, Chuck, he was breaking on the football.
Yeah, that's right. We've already seen the Pioneers run that play in the first drive. So, Again, we know that Hillsdale's looking for that. So another pistol backfield now with the wide receiver Singleton, and this time the give is a Singleton. Singleton over the left side, cuts it back to the middle, and just not a lot of running room there, Bill. He might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage, but that's going to be about it. Maybe a gain of half a yard is going to make it third, and we'll call it 11 now with, again, just 6 minutes to go here in the first quarter.
And no surprise, underneath that pile was Jay Rose, the middle linebacker, who's been pretty active here in this first quarter for the Chargers. I've noticed the way they're playing this with Van Valkenburg is he appears to be the field defensive end, and probably a good move forcing things into the short side of the field.
Yeah, that's right. They kind of set him wide, put him in a rushing stance. So, all right, so he drops back. Oh, throw, and it's complete to the 45-yard line.
Over to 50.
Let's get a number there. I believe that might be the tight end, number 85, and that is Riley Escale, actually one of the wide receivers. So nice job there by Riley.
And Riley, who I was reading in the pregame notes, had 3 receptions last week, which were his first 3 receptions of his career. And he is a senior in this program.
All right, so making a contribution again today early.
Sure is.
All right, so again, pistol formation in the backfield with Singleton lined up deep. So fake the Singleton. Oh, throw. It's complete. I believe that's Doolin, and Doolin's down to about the 18-yard line. So nice pickup for the Pioneers. Going to be 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line of the Chargers.
Clayton did a great job hanging in there because Van Valkenburg was breathing down his neck. And he did pay a little price, but stood in there, completed that for a big gain for the Pioneers.
Yeah, that's right. I'm sure they'll take that.
Okay.
All right, so 4 wide receiver look again. Pistol formation. Singleton the back, lined up behind Clayton. Clayton gets the snap. Fake to Singleton again. Throw to the left side. And again, it's Ashton Doolin in the flat, but they're on it immediately. Again, they're obviously paying Doolin a lot of respect there. He's going to lose about a yard. He's going to make it 2nd and 11 now.
Tell you what, number 10, Jason McDonough, who blew that up last time, blew it up again.
Yeah, he sure did. Really looks like he might be setting himself up for a double move here. We'll have to take a look. But, again, maybe a pump and go there with Doolin would be dangerous right here.
And McDonough, if he times that right, might be looking for a pick six too.
Straight away. That's right. So running back motions back
Van
to the
Valken.
backfield and the handoff. And
nice
nice
fake.
Job, score. Oh, no.
Wow.
Quarterback and even fooled us up here in the booth. Clayton with the little zone read type action keeps the ball, and that's going to be another touchdown for the Pioneers. They even fooled our camera guy, Rick Phillips.
Yeah.
All right, so again, 3:50 to go here, and Bill, we've seen a lot of offense.
Well, we sure have. I don't know that we expected this, although the scores were similar, as we said, between these teams and Lake Erie. So we're in for a treat today, Chuck.
Apparently so. So, again, Moeller in to attempt a PAT, and we'll see if he can bang this one through. Decent snap. The hold is down. The kick is up, and it is good. So, again, 3:50 to go in the first quarter, and your score, Malone Pioneers 14, Hillsdale Chargers 7.
Well, I tell you what, DeAndre Clayton on that, he ran the read option, and he rode that back in there. And Van Valkenburg actually had his hands around Singleton when he pulled the ball and took off. And, the key play in that drive by their DeAndre Clayton.
Yeah, definitely on the ground. And, again, a couple nice plays. Was able to find Doolin on that nice post down the field to pick up some yards. But, again, you're right. Clayton getting it done with his feet right now.
Yep. So back deep again on the kickoff return is Austin Sandusky, number 2, and number 23, David Graham for Hillsdale. And a beautiful day here in Canton, Ohio. Sun-drenched day, about 55, 60 degrees, Chuck. Not too hot and just the right temperature for almost October football.
Nice, brisk fall day. You're right, Bill, and great day for football. All right, so again, Moeller set the kick. Approaches the ball, the kick's away. We field it inside the 5.
And it's Graham over to 10, 15,
Uh-oh.
out to the 20. He's got the edge, 25, and he squirts out about the 27-yard line. A nice return by Graham there because he looked like he was getting in a little traffic, but showed a little burst there and got out to the right side and
Yeah,
was
that's
able
right.
to.
I think that was James Jackson finally able to force him out of bounds. But you're right, Bill. He had a nice return going there. About got the edge.
Yes, he did.
All right, so again, gets it all the way out to the 34-yard line. That's where Hillsdale will take over, 1st and 10.
They've got 3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. The back offsets to the right of Stewart. Stewart bounce motions his H-back. And there's the give to the running back. He's up over to 30, out to about the 33-yard line. And I believe that might be a different running back there, Chuck. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I'll have to get the number there.
I think it might be 28 on the carry there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice little run before he's finally chopped
And that's
down by the
C.
safety.
Shepler. I noticed in the stats, Shepler hadn't showed up until last week. Had 15 carries for 77 yards and a touchdown. So Shepler stays in. Off to the left to Stewart. Bounce motion by the wing. 2 receivers to the left. Stewart fakes. And boy, that was possible pass interference, but that was intended for wide receiver number 18, Connor Maloney, the sophomore.
Yeah, I think a little high there. The throw wasn't where they wanted it to be, but again, I'm not sure if that was interference or not. No call, so
Yeah.
it's going to make it 3rd and 5 now for the Chargers.
Yeah, I would expect to see Hillsdale throw here, but you never know. They've had some success running. Shepler off to the right of Stewart, 2 receivers to the right. The slot bounces motion, and there's a little rollout to the left, and that's the number 18, Maloney, and that's going to be good enough for a 1st down at the 48-yard line of the Pioneers.
That's right. Nice little gain there. Bill crosses midfield and keeps the drive alive for the Chargers.
I've been impressed by Stewart. He's got great composure and really doesn't seem to panic under duress there.
Yeah, that's right. He's set a lot of records here at Hillsdale, and again, like we mentioned, a 4-year starter. So obviously he has got a lot of experience back there in the pocket.
Yep. So we've got a short wing to the right, 1 receiver to the left. They motion the slot from left to right. A little play action fake to Maloney, and he's looking to, I believe it's probably Trey Brock. And sure enough, so they run a nice little deep motion. Stewart fakes it, and there is Brock running free down the left sideline for 48-yard touchdown, Chuck.
Yeah, a lot of window dressing there. And number 7, Key Beckham, the cornerback, just got caught looking in the backfield a little too long, and they were able to get over the top on him.
So 2:25 to go in the first period, 14-13 in favor of Malone. Extra point upcoming by Joe Phillips of the Chargers. Okay, snap, kick, good. Mechanics are good, and the kick is good. So that moves it to 14-14. And as Chuck was saying, after the last Malone score, we may be in for a heck of a football game here as far as if you like offensive games.
Yeah, that's right. Hasn't been a stop yet.
No. Defense coordinators are pulling their hair out.
Yeah, that's right. I wouldn't want to be a DC on either sideline right now.
No.
All right, so again, Pioneers now set to receive. And, again, as we mentioned, they've done a decent job moving the football against this Hillsdale defense. But, again, Hillsdale's done an equally good job moving the ball in the Pioneers. So, this could come down to who's able to get a stop today, Bill.
Yep. And so Joe Phillips out for the kick.
All right, Dolan deep again for the Pioneers.
And Phillips tees it up at 35. And, of course, as Chuck said, Doolin back deep, and we suspect we probably won't see the ball come anywhere near Doolin.
They sure kicked it away from him last time.
Yeah. So we'll see if they do a little pooch kick again. And sure enough, kick travels to about the 27. And it appears they might have maybe signaled for a fair catch there, Chuck.
Yeah, I never saw it, Bill, but yeah.
I agree with you. I didn't see a fair catch signaled for him.
Hobbs on the kick, but yeah, they're going to call it a fair catch. So it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. And I guess maybe after that fair catch debacle at Arkansas a couple weeks ago, they're a little quicker to call that.
Yeah. They don't want anybody standing there pretending like they're going to get the fair catch and
That's
then
right.
take off and go for big yards.
All right, so again, 1st and 10 from the Pioneers from their own 27. H-back in the backfield, also a pistol formation with Singleton behind Clayton.
Singleton
Fakes, throws it, complete. And let's get the number. And again, guess who? Ashton Doolin up almost to midfield. Is going to be a first down and a lot more. All the way down to about the 40, well, we'll call it the 44-yard line. And again, that's where it'll be 2nd and 10 now.
You know, Clayton hasn't thrown a lot this year, but I'll tell you what, he's looked pretty good in the opportunities had today to throw the football against
he's been on
Chargers.
today, very sharp. You're right, Bill. All right, so they break the huddle. Again, 4 wide receivers, 2 to the bottom and 2 to the top of the formation. Different back this time. Looks like it is, have to get the number there. Motion now down the field. Little jet handoff.
Ooh.
And I'll tell you, nice job there. It looks like that's number 17, Dakota Hobbs, and he's able to turn the corner there and pick up a few yards.
Yeah, and a point was just brought up. If they had run that to the wide side, boy, that could have went, but he just didn't have enough room to go anywhere on that one.
Yeah, that's right. I believe that was Blasiola, the other back in the backfield that time, and it is. Blasiola remains in the game. He's now in the H-back, or excuse me, the tailback behind the quarterback. 2 wide receivers to the top. The give is to Blasiola, and Blasiola, boy, shows his power there, but
he's
able to push forward for about a yard before he's finally driven back by
and Nate Jones was able to get in there and just literally wrestled him to the ground there.
Yeah, that's right, but Blasiola showed that he's got some strength there, so
yeah,
picks up about 2. It's going to make it 3rd and, we'll call it 3rd and a long 3 now for the Pioneers as they huddle. They come to the line.
Yeah.
And we're going to have 4 wide receivers to the top of the formation, so 3rd and 3, and they're going to go empty backfield here.
And, they've been game planning against Van Valkenburg. And, of course, we figured.
Clayton throws. He's got a receiver
and
open.
that's probably Doolin again.
I bet it is, and it's going to be good for a first down. So Doolin picks up about 4 on 3rd and 3, and that keeps the sticks moving.
Yeah, and Doolin's working against Jason McDonough, who has done a good job of tight coverage on the screens. But with a receiver like Doolin, there's only so much you can do, Chuck. I mean, he's going to get open. He's going to get some catches. You just got to hope to minimize the damage.
Well, that's right. And what you've got to do is tackle him after he catches it. And they've done a decent job of that today, limiting his run after catch. All right, so another 5-wide look. This time, intended for Blasiola, but way over his head. It goes incomplete. So that's going to make it 2nd and 10 now. Just 16 seconds to go here in the first quarter.
And really the first, I would say, errant throw by either quarterback. That was just an easy completion there, and he just must have lost a handle on that one.
It just sailed on him, and wasn't really even close. You're right. So, okay, now 4 wide receivers set, 2 to the bottom and 2 to the top. Blasiola still in at tailback, lined up in the pistol behind Clayton. Clayton gets the snap, fakes it to Blasiola, now follows him up the hole. He's going to have a nice little gain here. He's going to get down almost
9 yards.
To a first down. Little 9-yard pickup there on first down.
Down to the 35-yard line of the Chargers.
Going to make it 3rd and 1 now, and put the Pioneers in pretty good shape here. 3rd and 1 from the Hillsdale 34-yard line. So that's going to be the end of the first quarter. And again, folks, your score at the end of 1. The Malone Pioneers 14, the Hillsdale Chargers 14. We're all knotted up here, Bill.
Chuck, what I saw with Hillsdale is they've been running an under front with they're placing Van Valkenburg to the wide side of the field, and they're trying to shut down the weak side with the three-man line. But what's happening is they're able to spread the Pioneer offensive line has been able to spread that defensive line out and created running lanes for Singleton and for Clayton. And
yeah, that's right. We talked about Van Valkenburg. They're putting him in almost in that sprinter stance out there for the pass rush, and. With the 3 down linemen to the other side, kicked down, that leaves a natural gap right there, and give the Pioneers credit, they're taking advantage of it so far here in the first quarter.
Yeah, so we'll see if there's some adjustments. Of course, a lot of times too, what we'll see this stuff slow down as we get into the second half, when the defensive coordinators have some time to sit down and talk about how are we going to adjust to what they're doing. So, but for the first half right now, it's been 100% scoring here for both teams.
Yeah, that's right. So, again, first play of the second quarter is going to be a 3rd and short for Malone from about the 35-yard line of Hillsdale. So Malone with 3 wide receivers to the bottom, 1 to the top. Again, Blasiola still the back in the pistol formation behind Clayton. There's the snap, and Clayton's going to follow Blasiola, little lead play, and that's going to be good for a first down after a pickup of about 4. Gets it down to the 31-yard line. So nice way to keep the drive alive for the Pioneers, and it's going to be 1st and 10.
Now, I noticed on that time, Chuck, they moved number 50 on the defensive line, Nate Canterbury, into a 2 technique to the wide side of the field, giving Van Valkenburg a little more help, and they had a little more success on that containing the run.
Yeah, and again, that was an obvious rundown, so good time to do it.
Yep.
So 5 wide receivers again this time. Clayton gets the snap, drops back. A little bit of pressure now. He has to step up, and he's going to be sacked there at about the 33-yard line.
I think that might be – no, it isn't. It's number 55.
It's like 55, and
yeah, we'll get number 55 here if he's on our 2 deep.
yeah, that's Kyle Perrin, one of the defensive linemen, a redshirt
Yep.
freshman. So nice job there by Perrin to fight off a block and pick up a sack there.
And we'll go over some first half stats here when we get a moment.
Okay, so 2nd and long now for the Pioneers. 2 wide receivers to the bottom. H-back lined up to the left side of the line. Backs in a pistol. And it is Blasiola. The snap and the fake to Blasiola, throw into the flat.
Hobbs with the nice little catch there.
Yeah, nice little throw to Hobbs. Again, good for we'll call it about 6 yards. Gets it up to about the 27-yard line. So that's where it's going to be 3rd and 6 now for the Pioneers.
And so this is really the first tough 3rd down situation either team has really had here, Chuck. So, this is red zone type of territory. The Pioneers need to keep this going because it's been score for score, so they don't want to get behind in that battle.
Yeah, that's right. And again, they want to put redshirt freshman kicker Marcus Moeller in a little better situation if they can't get this first down. So,
for sure.
Okay, so there's a snap. Again, Clayton drops back. He throws, and
Ooh. And number 5, Nate Jones, got underneath that really well.
Yeah, he sure did, Bill. He could have picked that one off possibly. Just was a little over his head. So
Yeah.
it's going to be 4th down now for the Pioneers, and let's see what they decide to do. It looks like they're going to bring Moeller out onto the field and attempt this field goal. So it's going to be, we'll call it a 44-yarder now for Moeller. And again, he's got a long of 42 on the year, so from our calculations, this could be a new long for Moeller if he's able to hit this.
Yep. And
if my math is right.
I think it is.
Oh,
a block. And that's going to roll into the end zone, and that's going to be the end of that drive. So the first offensive drive that did not result in a score is a blocked field goal attempt.
Yeah,
and it came from the interior. I would suspect there what happened is Moeller, knowing this is a little bit farther than he's normally kicking from, drove it a little bit too low, and a defensive lineman's hand got up and got on it.
I think you're exactly right, Bill. I think the angle there was the problem for Moeller.
Yep.
That time.
So Hillsdale starts now at the 27-yard line, their own 27-yard line. And so we've got Chance Stewart in the gun with Graham to his right, 3 receivers to the right, tight end down to the left. Play action to Graham, and Stewart goes up top. And, wow, good defense by the Pioneers on that.
Yeah, it really was. I think that was was that DeLacy Bass there, number 3 on the coverage?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so again, nice job by the freshman corner there to make a play on the ball and knock it down there.
I would say this is Brock was open. If Stewart puts a little more on that, I think that could have been a hookup there, but a little underthrown as he hung it up.
Yeah, he definitely gave Bass a chance to make a play on it.
Yep. So we've got 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Graham to the left to Stewart. Stewart drops. He looks. Crossing route in the middle. And he finds number 35. And that is, we'll get a number. Oh, that's John Brennan, the senior tight end.
Yeah, nice concept there with the Chargers to run the cross in front of that and then run the hook behind it.
Yeah, it wasn't the cleanest execution, but still effective.
No, but I'll tell you, that Malone wondering where
they did.
The guys were.
Yeah, they did. So we've got 3rd and 1 from the 36-yard line for the Chargers. They've got Brock out to the right, I formation, unbalanced to the left. And let's see what they do here. So Stewart And it's going to be a quarterback sneak, and he's got well enough yards out to the 38-yard line.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, he just keeps the legs driving, Bill. He's going to gain about 4 or 5 yards.
Yeah, I thought the original forward progress was going to be about the 38, but they give him another yard on that, Chuck.
Yeah, well, he just kept moving, and that pile kept going right with him.
Yep. So Chargers get ready. They get the signal from the sideline. A couple replacements come in, and Stewart's getting his call. He's got Graham to his right. They've got Maloney down to the left. 2 to the right. Stewart gets ready, calls for the ball. And there is the snap. He drops, he looks, dumps it off to Maloney on a little short crossing route. Good for a 6-yard pickup, and that gets the ball out to the 45-yard line. So Hillsdale will be looking at a 2nd and 4. And nice patience again by Stewart. Stewart shows, as a senior quarterback, he hangs in there. Of course, he's 6'6". He's a big kid.
Right.
So he's got a little bit of a frame. Kind of reminds me of Ben Roethlisberger as far as his build. And, boy, he just stands in there and throws the ball.
Yeah, that's right. Like we talked about, being a 4-year starter, he's got a lot of experience back there, too.
So Stewart gets ready for the ball, gives it out to number 34.
Oh, nice little cut there inside.
Yeah, and number 34. So we'll get that number for you. But
Bill, we got some people screaming for the ball. The ball might have come out there, and
I think that's being waved off.
Well, I think you're right. But
and that was
so ruled
Casey
down by
O'Brien,
contact.
the junior tailback from Troy, Michigan, on the carry that time. And it appears O'Brien will stay in, number 34, as the tailback. Stewart's going to go under center. We've got double tights with 2 splits. They motion in. And there's a little play action fake. And Stewart finds number 85, the other tight end there. That's Martin Peterson, the sophomore. And, boy, that's just a typical power run type of pass there, Chuck, where you get the boot, drag the tight end, and it's just a 2-receiver route, but very effective.
That's right.
2 receivers to each. Oh, I'm sorry, they're going empty. 3 receivers to the left. They get a little bubble out to number 2, and that's
Austin Sandusky.
And Austin Sandusky's able to get it up to the 35-yard line and move the chains again for the Chargers. So they've got a little something going here for Hillsdale, and the Pioneers need to respond quickly here. So bounce motion by the slot. Stewart rolls out to his right. He rolls. He finds number 22, and number 22 is Alex Foose, the redshirt freshman wide receiver. And Foose is all the way down to the 18-yard line, Chuck.
Yeah, Foose with a nice gain there.
Yep, and so it's a first down for Hillsdale, and they are knocking on the door again. Stewart, 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. He's got O'Brien lined up. He gives the ball to O'Brien. Oh, no, fake to O'Brien, and nearly picked off as they faked it to O'Brien on the handoff and tried to get it to Brock on the slant, but nearly picked off as it came off Brock's hands. So they'll be looking at 2nd and 10 from the 18-yard line. And, I like what Hillsdale's doing there, Chuck, with their play selection is they're mixing it up, some play action, and getting enough run in there to keep the Pioneers off balance.
Yeah, they've got them on their heels right now, for sure.
So Stewart bounce motions the slot left to right. And he drops, and he looks, a little pressure, dumps it off. And, boy, I thought that may have bounced, but it looks like he got it to O'Brien.
Yeah, just scooped it off the turf there.
And O'Brien's able to make something out of nothing there as he picks up maybe about 3 yards on that. But nice, effort to get under the football and keeps the drive alive, picking up a few more yards here. So Stewart's looking at a 3rd and 7. 2 receivers to each side. He's got O'Brien up to his right. And
big third down here, Bill.
Big 3rd down, 7. And there's Stewart. He drops, he looks, fires the ball way over the head of number 2, and that's Austin Sandusky.
And give the Pioneer defense credit there, Bill. They were able to finally stiffen
Yeah.
there when it really counted. So field goal unit's going to come on for the Chargers now, and they're going to try to get a 3-point lead here with 8:28 to go here in the half.
And Joe Phillips is up. He has a long of 34. So this is within his range. It'll be about a 32-yard attempt. And, last time we saw Malone in a similar situation, came up blocked. So we'll see if Hillsdale has a little bit more success. And, Chuck, something I noticed here is it appears that they're running. Oh, they just had a mistake there. I was going to say they had that unbalanced line.
Yeah.
And sometimes you see that with kickers to protect the kicking foot.
Depending on the angle. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to have a little stoppage here, Bill. And I didn't see a flag, but
Looked like confusion up front as far as Hillsdale. They're moving players around, and the Zebras are conferring, and we'll see what they come up with here. Okay, so they say play.
nothing.
Well, they're all pointing over there. I'm not quite sure what they're doing.
What or who they're pointing at.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
But, all right, so again,
Phillips, 32-yard attempt, 8:28 to go in the second quarter. And here, hands up, snap, kick. Oh, nice.
yeah, high snap there, able to pull that down.
Yeah.
Nice job getting it set and good kick, good follow through. So that's 3. So again, with 8:23 to go in the half, your score is now Hillsdale 17, Malone 14.
Chuck, if you want to take a look at Malone's stats there in the first quarter, we got a little break here in the action as we get ready for the kickoff.
Yeah, so just like we talked about, Clayton was 8 for 9 for 82 yards there. So 10 a reception there, pretty hot streak there coming out. Clayton also had 33 yards on the ground and a long of 18, and of course he had both touchdowns for the Pioneers. As far as receiving, let's see here. Markel Steffen had 1 catch for 11 yards. Doolin had 6 targets, but only managed 53 yards. Only 53 yards in 1 quarter. And, again, so a decent start there for the Pioneers.
Okay, so taking a look at Hillsdale, passing-wise, Chance Stewart, 5 of 6, 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. David Graham, 5 carries for 8 yards. C. Shepler, 1 carry for 4 yards. Receiving-wise, Connor Maloney, 1 for 20. And Trey Brock, 5 catches, 118 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So those are the individual stats for the first quarter.
All right, so again, kick was an attempt to keep it away from Doolin and fielded again by Hobbs. Hobbs able to take it out just past the 25-yard line to the 26, and that's where the Pioneers will take over 1st and 10. Again, with just over 8 minutes to go here in the half.
Yep. So the mission here for the Pioneers is they held Hillsdale to 7. So now what they've got to do is just get down there. Well, I'm 3. And they got to get down there and score and try to take the lead or at least keep it even at this point.
Yeah, that's right. So look at this, Bill. First down, come out in 5 wide. So Clayton's got 3 to the bottom of the formation. Now he's got the jet motion and
down.
They faked the jet motion. I'm not sure.
And
if
it was
a
Van
design
Valkenburg.
fake, but Clayton stumbles forward and he's actually going to be marked down for no gain. So it's going to be 2nd and 10. We've got a stoppage of play here. Looks like we've got a Pioneer injured on the field. One of the linemen holding his leg.
Depending on where they mark that, Chuck, it looks like it might be a 2-yard loss because
Yeah, it actually is. They moved the stick now. So
yeah,
and I thought that Clayton had fallen down a little short of the line of scrimmage, and
yeah.
that's how it's marked. So again, when we come back from injury, it's going to be 2nd and 12 now for the Pioneers.
Well, big number 97, Zach Van Valkenburg, got his arms around Clayton, and he was going no farther at that point. So a little break in action. Getting back to the stats here. For Hillsdale, the kickoff returns, we had Graham with 1 for 27 and Sandusky 1 for 19. There were no punt returns, no interceptions, and no fumbles. Jason McDonough had the most tackles in the first quarter with 4 tackles, 1 for a TFL. And then for Malone, number 2, Lamont Matheson had 3 tackles to lead the way in the first quarter.
All right, Bill. So the injured Pioneer was starting left tackle Zach Hill, and he's going to be replaced by Rem McConaughey. So, again, let's see how that plays out as far as the
Wow.
rush goes.
And we saw right away.
Yeah. That, again, big sack.
Van
Clayton goes
Valkenburg just drove the tackle right back into the quarterback and just wrapped everybody up.
That's going to be a loss of about 5 or 6, so it's going to make it third and about 16 or 17 now for the Pioneers. So exactly where they didn't want to be, they get forced into an obvious passing situation deep in their own territory here.
Well, you can't really afford to lose your left tackle at any point. And you see it in the NFL, you see it in college, it trickles down to high school. That man's got the quarterback's blind side in most cases.
That's right, and a 5-receiver set here, so he's going to be on an island again. There's the snap.
And Van Valkenburg gets
Clayton
by.
gets a weird
Whoa!
Almost intercepted. I'll tell you, number 40.
Dan Shanley.
Pioneers, yeah, Shanley just stepped right in front of it, but I think he might have seen 6 before he caught the ball, so that's going to fall harmlessly incomplete, but put the Pioneers in a very obvious punting situation here with 4th and long with, again, about 7 minutes to go here in the half.
And Hillsdale didn't take advantage of the opportunity to go up by 7. They got a field goal, so let's see this time if they can convert. So back deep on the punt return, and it appears to be it's David Graham. Yeah, it is, number 23. And that's kicked way out of bounds. Probably looks like up maybe about the, well, we'll see what the actual mark is on that.
Yeah, it was. Justin Smith just
they're
that one right out of bounds.
They're going to mark it at the 47-yard line of the Pioneers, or 48-yard line of the Pioneers, and that's where Hillsdale take over. So great field position and just a really untimely situation for a poor punt.
Yeah, it was. Taking it back, Bill. That was Marcus Moeller on the punt there for the Pioneers.
Okay. And so Stewart lines up in the gun. He's got 3 receivers to his left, 1 to the right. Looks it over. Little bounce motion again. And then Stewart. Oh, play action to Graham, and he gets drilled. And is that number?
Yeah, he sure did. That's the big number 90, Gabriel LaRosa, the freshman D tackle who just popped him as soon as he threw it.
And from Wilmington, we've got a score here. It's Heidelberg 24 and Wilmington College 7. So the Heidelberg Student Princes travel down to Wilmington today, and they're getting the best of the Quakers.
Teaching the Quakers a thing or two right now.
They sure are. 1 receiver on each side, bounce motion, play action fake, drops it off on a little screen to Graham. Graham's up over the 40, over to 35, down to the 33-yard line.
I'll tell you, Bill, nice job by the Hillsdale O-line to get out in front of that.
Yeah, they let the defense sift through there, Chuck, and there was a convoy of white for Graham when he caught the football.
There sure was. So that's going to get it deep inside the Malone territory now, and all the way down to about the 33-yard line.
Yep. And so we've got a slowdown in play here. Looking at some stats, team-wise, you had Hillsdale with 5 first downs and Malone with 8. You had rushing yards, Hillsdale with 12 and Malone with 82. So,
all right, Key Beckham, the injured Pioneer there.
Okay, so Stewart in the gun. Receiver off to his left. We've got 1 to his right, who is Brock. Bounce motion again, as we've seen repeatedly. And fake to Graham, and over the middle to Brock, and just too high. Boy, he had him fronted on that, Chuck, if he had got that down.
Brock had a nice position there, but again, the ball just skied on him there, and really no chance to catch that ball.
Yep. So, you know, that's probably a situation there where you want to...
Want to put your phone on silent?
And we're going to do that.
All right, so again, guys, we are 2nd and 10 now for the Hillsdale Chargers. Again, the clock continuing to run here, 6:25 to go in the half. Hillsdale protecting a 3-point lead.
And Maloney in motion. play action fake roll, and finds Maloney at the 10-5 touchdown. So Maloney, who came in motion, bounced out, came all the way from the left side, all the way across the field to the right, and Stewart found him over on the right sideline for a touchdown.
Yeah, nice job by the Hillsdale wide receivers, too, to block after the catch there, help out their fellow receiver there and get him in the end zone.
Sure. It was a good, well-conceived play there, and a touchdown now for the Chargers. And where Malone dodged the bullet last time, they weren't so fortunate this time, Chuck.
Yeah, that's right. So, kick is up.
Phillips' kick is good.
It's good. So, 6:17 to go in the half. Your score, Hillsdale 24, Malone 14.
And so, Chuck, what do you see that the Pioneers have to put together here with 6 minutes to go? Obviously they need points, but what would you do offensively to get in a position where they can put something on the board, not leaving a lot of time for Hillsdale, but try to rob some of that momentum back?
Yeah, I think they need to get a long drive here, obviously, and again, I would just look for them to continue what they've been doing. I mean, Clayton has been on like we talked about. He was 8 for 9 in the first quarter. They just need to keep that going, and again, maybe look for ways to use Doolin as a decoy, because obviously Hillsdale's paying him a lot of attention.
Yeah, and I think that either use Doolin as a decoy or manufacture ways to get the ball in his hands, because his number of touches have been minimized, especially like we see on the kickoff, where Phillips will obviously just pop the ball up to the middle lines.
Well, we've seen them do a lot of different things, run a lot of hitches and things like that.
Right.
But, Hillsdale's done a good job covering those.
Right. And you want to get them in space, which has not been happening. Oh, nice. Oh!
Kick fielded at the 30, brought back to the middle, but drugged down there by
number 35. Yeah.
And that is that's John Brennan, one of the tight ends here. And,
yeah.
Brennan with a nice job snuffing that kickoff return out there at about the 32-yard line.
Normally don't see your tight ends tackling people like that, but
no,
it was
a nice play.
Probably an old linebacker in high school, I'm sure.
All right, so 1st and 10 from the Pioneers from their own 32-yard line. They're going to come out with a 5 wide receiver look again, 4 receivers to the bottom of the formation, lone receiver to the top, and Clayton all by himself in the backfield. Now we have motion and back into the backfield, and the give
I think that's Xavier Garland.
It is, number 22, Xavier Garland, and Garland with a nice little gain for a first down, gets the ball up past the 45-yard line, so again, nice little first down pickup there for Malone.
Chuck, we were up here a couple times last year, and Garland had a couple nice performances on some limited carries. And, I kind of wondered why we haven't seen more of him, because last year he was a pretty impressive player for him.
Okay, so pistol formation again. And the give is to Garland, this time over the left side. And Hillsdale, much better job here defending the run. They get it to the line of scrimmage, but that's about where it's going to stop. So going to bring up 2nd and 10 now for the Pioneers.
And number 97, Zach Van Valkenburg, underneath on that one.
Yeah, it's hard to run outside of him.
Yeah.
And we saw that they had some success running underneath of him.
Yeah.
That may be what they want to go back to.
And the other thing that he does so well is he follows the play down the line, and a lot of times he pursues it and still makes the play on the other side of the field.
Right. So 4 wide receiver look. Now we have motion. Back into an H-back set. Okay, the give again is to Garland, and Garland puts his head down and burrows through for about, we'll call it a gain of 3. So 3rd and 7 now from the 48-yard line. And the Pioneers looked across midfield here.
Maybe the crucial down of this half, Chuck, because Malone really needs to keep this drive alive.
Yeah, if nothing else, for field position.
Exactly. To, try to slow down the momentum that's been gained by Hillsdale.
Right, so 4 wide receiver look again. Garland lined up behind Clayton in the backfield in a pistol set. Clayton eyes the defense. Gets the ball, drops back, looks,
Ooh.
Pressure, gets away.
Wow.
Was able to get rid of it, but again, falls incomplete. Couldn't get a lot on it there. It looked like he was stepping up in the pocket as he threw, so that's going to bring up 4th and long from midfield, and the Pioneers are going to be forced to punt.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was all sorts of pressure coming from Van Valkenburg and number 91, Skylar Snell, the sophomore defensive lineman from Cincinnati, Ohio. Boy, nice job by the defensive line. Now, great job by Clayton stepping up and getting away from it.
Yeah, that's right. So Moeller set the kick again. There's a snap. Moeller fields it clean, and close to a block there. Kick's going to go out of bounds at about the 15-yard line, so that's where the Chargers will take over 1st and 10 with 4:12 to go here in the half with a 10-point lead, 24-14.
You know, Chuck, watching that on the punt, sometimes you can see things after you've seen a couple punts, and it appeared that Hillsdale's seen something in films that's led them to believe that they can get in there and perhaps block that kick.
Yeah, and if they didn't see it before, they ought to think it now.
Yeah.
Because they've been close a couple times. You're right.
Yep.
And again, not really, what I would consider to be a real heated rush either. So
No, it's just nobody's. All you got to do on that is you just got to chip that guy. Get a shoulder on him, punch him.
Piece and slow him up.
Yeah, exactly. And there's no effort to slow him up.
No,
so
there doesn't seem to be. So looks like number 35 is the injured Pioneer, and that would be Matt Ramsey, the senior defensive end.
Hopefully Matt's just got a cramp or something down there.
Yeah, let's hope so. So, again, it's going to be 1st and 10 when we come back. But just a reminder, if you're only listening to us, you're probably listening to us on 106.9 WZAA, the ZA, out of Jeffersonville.
The ZA. So, and of course, you're watching us on Campus Nation. And you can find us at www.campusnation.com or...
Bill, if they found us, they already know the address.
Yes, that's true. Or they can go to YouTube and type in Campus Nation.
That's true. Like our channel, and you can get all the new Campus Nation stuff that comes out. I think Rick puts it out there almost on a daily basis, it seems like.
Yes, he does.
Content is being uploaded to the site. So, again, we're in an injury timeout here, and 4:12 to play. Again, the Malone Pioneers are hosting the Hillsdale Chargers here on homecoming in Canton. And, again, Hillsdale is getting ready to start another drive here. And, Bill, we've seen a lot of offense, not a ton of defense, but we have seen the Chargers kind of stiffen here in the second quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, we'll see if the Malone Pioneers can follow suit here.
Well, if they allow Hillsdale in the end zone on this one, if they can hold it, obviously they don't want them to score, but at the worst case scenario, if they keep it to 3, they're all right. But I think if they score here, Chuck, they've got an uphill battle for the rest of the game.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you.
So 2 receivers to the left. Stewart fakes to Graham. He decides to take off. One of the few times we've seen him run. He's up to the 25-yard line. Good for about a 7-yard gain, so he'll be looking at 2nd and 3. And he really did not want to run.
No, I think you're right. That was the absolute last option right there for him.
There was no indication that he wanted to do that, but sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
That's right.
So 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Stewart goes under center. Graham in the backfield as the single back. And they motion Maloney in. And it's a play-action fake. And we saw this play before where they found Maloney, but it looks like they're going up to – oh! And that was for Trey Brock. And, again, just underthrew the ball on that.
Yeah, I'll tell you, that, Bill, earlier in that route, he was open. He had a step there.
Yes, he did.
And nice job by the corner. I believe that was number 3, the cornerback, DeLacy Bass, again, with a nice job closing that at the end.
And
get himself in position to make a play on the ball.
The old saying is throw the man open, and when you're throwing to them when they're open, it's too late to throw the ball. So Stewart's going to have to get that out there a little bit quicker on that play action.
Yep.
2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Graham is offset to his right, bounce motion, right to left, and Stewart looks, and wow, window throw there.
Yeah, it was. I'll tell you, actually, that was Key Beckham there on the last play.
And that's number 2. That is Austin Sandusky, the senior wide receiver. And, boy, that's exactly where that ball had to be placed, and it was a great throw by Stewart.
Yeah, that's just what I was thinking. That was a tight window throw, and he made it.
And again, Sandusky over to 50, up to about the 46, 47-yard line into Pioneer territory. And just like that, Hillsdale's got a little drive going, Chuck.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Christian Matthews, the linebacker out there, arguing for a holding penalty. Thought he should have been able to get free and make that tackle, but no call there. They're able to pick up about 8.
So Stewart gets ready again, puts 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Graham also to the right. Bounce motion. And then Stewart rolls to his right. He looks, and a wide open number 18, and that is Connor Maloney. And Maloney has really come up big here, Chuck, and getting himself open here in this second period.
Yeah, he really has. Again, they're obviously keying on the big receivers.
On Brock.
Yeah, on Brock. So, again, that leaves some room for the other guys to make a play.
Yep, 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Graham in the backfield with Stewart. Stewart gets ready. There's the snap. He looks. Plenty of time. Goes deep. Who else? Oh, in the last second. And I don't know. Is that La Rosa?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm trying to get a number here. That might
or
have
Bass?
been.
I don't know who was on the coverage there, but
yeah, they did a nice job. Made a nice break on the ball there. And
Trey Brock had him beat, and whoever made up that yardage on that really did a great job and prevented a quick score there for Hillsdale.
Yeah, that's right. See if we can't get a name to go with that number there.
3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Play action fake to Graham. He drops it. Oh, and just grounds the ball there, which will bring up 3rd and 10. Not that time, Chuck. They were looking for that screen.
That's right. Daryl Gaddis was the corner out there on that last play.
Daryl Gaddis.
The nice play there.
And Gaddis really closed there on that. That's the type of things they look for in the pros, is they look for that makeup speed once you get beat, and he showed some impressive makeup speed on that one. Okay, 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Bounce motion. Stewart looks. He looks. Oh, and down goes Stewart.
Yeah,
and
he sure did. I'll tell you.
And that's the kind of hit that usually leads to some kind of damage with a knee, because when you go down like that, your knees lock up and bad things are going to happen.
That's right. I believe that was number 46, Eric Sontag there. And, I'll tell you, whoever it was, that was a nice course from the linebacker depth, and nice sack there to end the drive there for the Pioneers.
Yeah, 1:50 to go here in the second quarter. And that was a big play, Chuck, because it looked like Hillsdale might go down and score again. So the Pioneers bow up and stop the Chargers.
Yeah, but the clock continues to run here. Pioneers choose not to call a timeout.
Oh, and it's a bad snap. And the punter, number 36, Jack Shannon, has to slide back down to the 28-yard line. What a break for the Pioneers with 1:25 to go here in the second quarter. And, Chuck, they're in operating zone right here. They could go in and really make this a tight ball game.
Yeah, they sure can. I'll tell you, critical mistake, a crucial mistake there for Hillsdale. And, again, just like you said, really gives Malone great field position here. And, we know DeAndre Clayton can lead them into the end zone, and he'll be looking to do that right here with 1:25 to go here in the half.
I might break out with something like a no-back or something to try to get Clayton into it as a runner a little bit.
Yeah, well, we've seen them do that on first down already a couple times.
Right.
And so Garland is going to be the back again with 4 wide receivers in the formation, 2 to each side. The throw going to be to the right side.
Ooh,
it's complete.
Number 85.
Yeah, it's number 85. That is Riley Escal. And again, Escal makes a nice move after the catch, able to pick up about 7 yards. Going to make it 2nd and 7 now with just over a minute left in the half. So 4 wide receivers again. The throw down the right sideline for Escal, but not really going to be close. Ball falls harmlessly incomplete. So going to bring up now 3rd and about 3 from the 21-yard line of the Chargers.
It's great to see a program kid like a scout. Yeah, 4-down territory here for the Pioneers. Obviously, you're this close. You got to get 7 here if the opportunity presents it on 4th down. And, they need a yard, Chuck, I think you got to go for it here.
Yeah, I don't know. They might be in a position too, Bill, where if they take the 3, they were just without
Well, they're down by
touchdowns.
7, yeah.
Okay, 4 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom. Now we have a motion into the backfield. Again, that is the running back. And again, throwing to the left flat, complete. Going to be good for a first down.
Is that Doolin?
Looks like that might have been Markel Steffens-Peppers.
Oh, Steffens,
there.
yep.
So, again, with a nice little gain up to about the 15, 14-yard line. They're quickly on the line. 4 wide receivers, under a minute to go now. Pistol formation.
Ooh.
The fake to Garland, and this time Clayton just hangs on to it, and he's going to get back to about the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, he's dragged down by number 91, Skylar Snell, the sophomore defensive tackle.
All right, so now 2nd and 10, and we're going to have timeout on the field called by the Pioneers, so they're going to take a chance and reassess there. Side note here, Bill, 77 Zach Hill, the left tackle, is back in the game for the Pioneers, again, that will bode probably better for them and
I would say
this pass rush of the Chargers.
Yeah, we, the Pioneers came out and every time they've run that 4 wide, Chuck, they've taken one of the inside receivers and run him on a slant out, and has been open almost every time on that.
Right.
And probably, a lot of times in those situations you get, you're not supposed to say pick routes and that, but really in essence what it is a pick route like a screen.
Well, Bill, that would be illegal.
Yes, I know. That's what they tell us.
might be a rub route.
Yeah. So right here, and this is a same formation we're talking about.
So again, 4-by-1 look, 4 receivers to the bottom for Clayton. We're going to have a stoppage of play here. The official, now they mark the ball ready for play. There's the ready whistle. So again, Clayton with 5 wide receivers. There's the snap. Clayton
2nd and
looks,
10.
Steps up, throws to the right side.
Oh, nice spot throw there.
To number 23. That's James Jackson, the wide receiver, and going to be close to a first down. Going to make it 2nd and about a yard to go here with just over 30 seconds left in the half.
Yep. Clock's running.
And we're going to have a timeout again by the Pioneers. So, again, they're got a good thing going here, 3rd and short. They want to make sure they get the play they want. And, again, with just 34 seconds to go here, 7 would be awfully nice for the Pioneers.
Well, in these situations, you want to make sure you use those timeouts because you can't take them with you. So you might as well get in there and use them and make good decisions instead of be in a hurried situation and
that's right.
Make a mistake.
That's right. Can't take them with you.
Nope.
Can't hold anything back.
No. Thanks, Dan.
All right, so again, 34 seconds to go here in the half, and again, Hillsdale up 24-14 on this beautiful homecoming Saturday at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Of course, home to the Malone University Pioneers.
And the Walsh Cavaliers.
Not today.
No, not today.
So 3-by-1 look, pistol backfield now. Again, Xavier Garland the back. And, Bill, we haven't seen much of Keon Singleton here in the second
No,
quarter.
we haven't. He had a nice run in that first quarter. I wonder if he got banged up a little bit.
So there's a snap. It's going to be a draw up the middle. And
Clayton is brought down.
Clayton's going to be really close to the first down. I think it's all going to depend on the spot here. And, we may have to get a measurement here, Bill, because this is really close.
Wyatt Batdorf and Dan Shanley on that.
Yep, the side judge rules it a first down, so it's not going to be 1st and goal from the 4. There's a snap. Throw is up. And
Oh, Doolin. I think he got it.
I think you're right.
Yes.
He did. Touchdown Pioneers.
Doolin, nice body control, brings the 1 foot down and drags it. And just like that, we've got a 24-20 game with 20 seconds to go here in the first half.
Yeah, nice job by Doolin there on the route to get up and elevate, get his back to the defender, use his body as a shield, and again leads to a nice touchdown here for the Pioneers.
Sure does.
Right back in it here with 20 seconds to go here, and again, like we said, this homecoming crowd here for the Pioneers is fired up.
And nice job, good resilience there by the Pioneers, just coming back and
good snap, good hold, good kick,
chipping away. And they had some 3rd and short and 4th down situations, Chuck, that they came through on, and those are character builders going into the second half. Gives you a lot of momentum.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So again, with 20 seconds to go here in the half, your score is now Hillsdale 24, Malone 21.
And I would suspect you're probably going to see some kind of low driving kick to prevent any kind of real good running return here, just in the situation that Hillsdale is able to, get a good return and maybe take a shot at the end zone.
Yeah, that's right. You don't want to give them any
No,
chance here at
no.
any kind of points. All right, so Moeller comes out to the field and looking to get the ball set here. He gets it from the official.
And so we've got kickoff coming here from Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium here in Canton, Ohio. The backdrop of the football-shaped ceiling on the Hall of Fame, and of course you can see different aspects of it from this perspective.
Moeller's kick's on the ground, going to be fielded right there at the 31 where he'll take a knee. That is number 89 for Hillsdale.
And that took about 1 second off the clock.
Yeah, it did. Drew Zwire's able to just basically fall on the ball, and so that's where the Chargers will take over. But we do have a flag on the play. Let's wait and see what the penalty is.
It's a kickoff, Chuck. We know that there's always going to be a penalty on the kickoff.
We've had a few this year, that's
yes.
for sure.
Can I quote you on that?
Look, it's going to be unsportsmanlike.
Okay, so
we called on number 21 for Hillsdale, and number 21, that is Joe Schneider, and that's his first one of the game. So Mr. Schneider needs to be careful here in the remaining half to not pick up another cheap penalty and get himself thrown out of this football game.
Yep. So they're in the victory formation here, or in this case, it would be called a safety formation to prevent any fumbles that would get away. And that's going to take it into the locker room here for halftime. With your score, Hillsdale 24 and Malone 21. And we will be back here in a few minutes here. We've got a guest here, Doug Edwards. We'll be getting Doug on to talk to him and have some halftime stats to go over. And to run these down quickly before we take our break, we've got, of course, coming up at 7:30, Ohio State at number 9, Penn State. Central Michigan at number 21, Michigan State. Indiana at Rutgers. Nebraska at Purdue. Number 14, Michigan at Northwestern. That is the Big Ten games today. And in the top 25 games of interest, Syracuse at number 2, Clemson. We've got number 12, West Virginia at number 25, Texas Tech. Number 7, Stanford at number 8, Notre Dame. Number 20, BYU at number 11, Washington. And number 19, Oregon at number 24, Cal. Last week we had like 2 top 20 games, and this week we have a bunch of them. So we will be back momentarily, and so we're taking our break. It's not on yet. I thought we had. Oh, there it is, right there. Okay, we got some sound here. Okay. So 4:05 to go in halftime. And I'm joined here by Doug Edwards, a longtime friend of mine.
Hey,
Doug,
Bill. How you doing?
thanks for being on Campus Nation today. And so what is, looking at last few years, of course, you retired from teaching how many years ago now?
I retired in June of 2015, so 3 years.
3 years. And you took up some cycling, and you've been all over the place doing that.
Yeah, when I retired, I really right before I retired, I was hiking a lot, and one of the things I found is that I really like this hiking business, but I like to see more things in the day than what I could see. So I came to the conclusion maybe riding a bike would be the thing to do, and so in 2013 I took a ride across Ohio on what's known as the Ohio to Erie Trail.
I've heard of it.
So I biked from Cleveland, Ohio, through Columbus, and all the way down to Cincinnati, and dipped my tires both in Lake Erie and in the Ohio River. And
very nice.
since then, I've really found ways to bike. I've ridden the Katy Trail across Missouri. I've ridden the C&O Gap Trail from Washington, D.C. to Pittsburgh. And in 2016, I started, I belong to a group called Rails to Trails Conservancy. And they advocate taking old rail lines that are no longer used and converting them into trails.
Oh, neat.
And I got a call or an email from them looking for the opportunity to go to the Ohio legislature and ask for funding. And they created a coalition of different trail groups, both equestrian, water trail groups for river people, and kayakers and the like. And they decided to have a coalition instead of just different groups trying to approach the legislature for money. And from that, I started, I talked to several legislators, and I told them about my experiences on these other trails outside of Ohio, plus the Ohio to Erie. I told them where I thought the Ohio to Erie Trail could be improved. But then after that, I looked at the situation and I said, I was talking a lot about other trails outside of Ohio. Maybe I need to know more about the trails in Ohio. So Rails to Trails also has a website called traillink.com, and they list all these trails throughout the country. And if you go on and look at Ohio, which I did, I said, well, maybe I need to start riding these trails. And so I decided that I have a goal, and hopefully maybe next year I will finish this goal, is to ride every trail that TrailLink has listed in Ohio. So I've got all of Northeast Ohio done. I've got the Cincinnati area done. Currently I'm working on the Dayton area. That would include Springfield, Wilmington, and I have ridden most of those trails in that area. In terms of the Wilmington area, I've ridden the Luther Peace Parkway, or I believe that's what it's called. I've also the 4C Bicentennial Trail, and this little trail that they have going off by Lowe's, called the Lowe's Drive Trail, and I know that connects to Wilmington College, and we're really good with it. So I'm really enjoying seeing all different parts of the state, and it's a great thing. And if people are out there, go ahead and look at Rails to Trail Conservancy, look up TrailLink, and look at on the Rails to Trail site on Facebook, and look for reviews by Orange Doug, and you'll see
Doug.
You'll see my reviews of the trails, particularly down in the Wilmington area.
Well, very good. Well, Doug, hang with us here. Of course, we're getting ready for the second half kickoff. Malone kicking to Hillsdale, and that is Sandusky on the return. He's up to the 10, over to 15, 20, 25, out nearly to the 30-yard line where he gets met out of bounds. I'm surprised there wasn't a flag on that one.
Not this time.
Not this time. So About the 29-yard line is where Hillsdale will start out with the ball. And Doug, your impressions of the football game today? It's your first time down to Tom Benson Stadium, and
Well, first of all, this stadium is absolutely gorgeous compared to what was here before called Fawcett Stadium. The NFL really seems to really want to upgrade this area and make this a showpiece for the league.
very true. Okay, we've got first down for the Chargers, and they give it to Graham, and Graham is able to get up over the about a 3-yard gain to the 32-yard line. Yeah, the NFL has definitely put their best foot forward here, and Malone is very fortunate, as is Walsh University. They share this stadium, and what a great venue for your college program when you're showing recruits. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Stewart gets ready. He has Graham to his right, and there is the snap, and he gets the ball to and the ball's
tipped.
The ball is tipped. Okay. So there is a vision of the Pioneer Park, which is in the process, a multi-phase project at Malone University, where they will be building their own facility there. It appears a football stadium and some field houses. So some good things going on at Malone. And we've got 3rd down and 7. Hillsdale calls for the ball. Play action fake. Stewart rolls to his right. He's got, on that time, wow. And what do you think about that, Chuck? I think
I'll tell you,
Trey Brock was getting cut off. And
yeah, another nice job there by 21 Daryl Gaddis on coverage for the Pioneers. Really shutting him down there. So that's going to force a punt here on 4th down.
wow, I thought there was a little crime going on there with Brock, but
That looked like football to me, Bill.
yeah, said like a defensive coordinator over here. Yeah, I think his right to the football was being denied, but anyhow, it doesn't matter. It's a punting situation, and there's a nice kick down to about the 21-yard line.
Right. So again, Dillon going to get a shot at this one. Not going to be able to get a whole lot out of it. Going to bring it up to about the 25-yard line. So that's where the Pioneers will take over, 1st and 10.
And there was about a 40-yard punt for Jack Shannon, the sophomore kicker for Hillsdale. Doug, of course, you live up in the Northeast Ohio area, and you were able to witness a big game up there between Canton High School and Mayfield High School last night, and the Bombers came out on top.
Oh yeah, that they a little different than when we were there.
Yeah,
they're throwing the ball all the time, but they look very good against Mayfield. They pretty much dominated the game.
Yeah. And now Mayfield, were they undefeated, or did they have a loss?
I think they had a loss. Kenston was 5-0 going into the game.
Guys, sorry, Clayton with a pass complete to the flat,
And Doolin.
Yeah, Doolin is.
Or no, it's Hobbs. It looks like. No, it was Doolin.
It was Doolin, and he gets flung out of bounds there by number 10.
And that's McConnell.
Hillsdale, and that's McDonough, and
McDonough.
McDonough, well outside the white stripe there, so it's gonna be an easy call for the official and be an easy 15 yards for the Pioneers. So that's gonna keep the drive rolling here.
Yep.
And put them in even better position to get them up almost, or actually right at midfield. So it'll be 1st and 10 now from the 50-yard line.
A great situation there for Malone is they scored a touchdown late in the second quarter, and Chuck, this is just a continuation with that momentum.
Yeah, that's right. They got a chance to jump out to a lead here, recapture that lead they had after the first drive. So Clayton with the snap steps up, and
I think we're going to get a hold.
I think we probably do have a holding call here, but he's going to pick up about 4 yards.
Number 55 on the hold there, I believe. He was looking pretty guilty when he got up off the ground.
How can you hold a guy if you're on the ground?
It was in the act of falling, I think, there.
Never understood that call.
He was just grabbing for anything he could get a hold of.
All right, so it is going to be holding, and they'll mark off 10-yard penalty, so it's not going to be 1st and 20 from the 40-yard line.
So just as it was looking like Lady Luck was smiling upon the Pioneers, they take that 15-yard penalty and take back 10 of it. So
yeah, that's right. We mentioned earlier in the first half that when the Pioneers get in these, whatever down and plus the sticks to go, they've struggled with this. So.
Yeah.
5 wide receivers set, 4 to the top of the formation for Clayton. Now shifts into the backfield.
Well, Singleton's back.
Yep. So throw into the flat, and he slips, regains his footing, and picks up about 4 yards. So going to get it up to, we'll call it 5, up to the 45-yard line, where it's not going to be 2nd and 15 for the Pioneers.
Yeah, and I had mentioned there that we hadn't seen Singleton since the first quarter, but he is back in there.
Back in there, that's right.
And we don't know, was it an injury situation? Speculation on that. But
yeah, well, and again, we've seen that Blasiola and Garland have gotten some time this year, so maybe just trying to keep everybody happy there. So another 4 receiver set, 3 to the bottom of the formation, 1 to the top. Again, Singleton now lined up in the pistol formation. There's a snap, and Clayton under pressure. He steps up and runs right into the defensive line of Hillsdale, and he's going to be driven back. And
of course, Van Valkenburg is in there, and number 91, Skylar Snell.
Yep, so a loss. So they're back to, I guess you couldn't call it the original line of scrimmage.
Pretty close, though.
The first line of scrimmage after the penalty. So that's going to make it now 3rd and 20 with just inside 12 minutes to go now in the half, or in the third quarter, excuse me.
So the Pioneers really need to just change a little field position, if nothing else, to get
that's
opportunity for a better punt.
That's exactly right. So 3-by-1 look now, and Clayton throws out into the right flat. It's complete to Doolin, but again, like we talked about, they've had that screen well covered all day, and he gets about 5 yards, but that's where he's going to be shut down. So it's not going to be 4th and 15 from their own 45, and Pioneer punting unit comes onto the field. Hopefully Marcus Moore can flip the field for him.
And I've been kind of interested to see what's going to happen on this punt because, as we talked about before, there's been some free runners on this the punt team for Malone. So we're going to see if they've adjusted to try to pick them up. And a little bit better on that one.
Yeah, more pressure up the middle this time.
And fielded by Graham, gets it up to about the 26-yard line or 25. We'll see where they mark it, 25. So David Graham catches the ball there, and that's where the Hillsdale Chargers will start with the ball. Doug, who's the top team in the Cleveland area right now? I haven't seen any of the standings or plain dealers, top 25.
I would say that it's St. Ed's and
Ignatius.
Yeah. Imagine that.
Yeah, I mean hard to argue with those two ever, but
Stewart with a quick pitch out to number 35, John Brennan, the tight end.
Matheson forces him out.
Who is Menor back up there this year? I mean, I know Menor for the last few years has been in that mix with the top teams.
Bill, I'm really not familiar with Menor this year, so I can't really tell
speak
you.
to that. Yeah.
I know that St. Vincent St. Mary's out of Akron lost last night, which was a big upset. So I know that they were up there.
Graham over to 35, 40, out to the 45. Excuse me on that, Doug. Out to the 47. First down for the Chargers. So now they ranked. I mean, they were a state-ranked team, which they usually are at Akron St. V.
Well, they were definitely ranked in the Cleveland area. Definitely in the plain dealer top 20, and I think they probably were in the top 10.
So you say Perry knocked them off last night. Play action fake there. Stewart gets the ball out, and that's number 82, Trey Brock, who's been pretty quiet since that first quarter, Chuck.
Yes, he has.
But that moves the chains, and first down for the Chargers at the 37-yard line. And just like that, the Chargers have responded to the threat of the Pioneers taking that lead.
Yeah, that's right.
Potentially.
Hillsdale's kind of picked up right where they left off in the first half.
I formation with a wing to the right. Give to the tailback. Oh, and he jumps, and O'Brien just a jump cut. His foot came out from underneath him, and
number 10 on the tackle.
Yeah, he loses a yard there.
Yeah, that's right. Again, Clayton. No, I think
that's
DeAndre Clayton.
Yeah.
The quarterback. No, it was
it was
Dwaylen Washington.
Yeah.
But again, more the fact that the back slept in front of him, I think, than anything.
Yep. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. I'm 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Roll out to the left by Stewart. Stewart looks, gets the ball to the flats, number 82, Brock. And Brock with a short gain of about 5 yards, but that'll make it 2nd and 5. So, Doug, as far as, you talk about the bicycling and that, do you have any trips, in mind? You talked about Ohio, but anything out of the state that a goal that you want to get to with that?
Oh, goals! Oh, definitely have some goals. I'd love to ride what it used to be called the John Wayne Pioneer Trail out in Washington State. Also the Mickelson Trail in South Dakota. Some beautiful country, and in fact, I am heading out 2 weeks from now. I am heading to Indianapolis to ride with some friends. We met on a what they call a sojourn that the Rails to Trails Conservancy put together, and we have been meeting up a couple times a year since that ride that we had in West Virginia, and we kind of go into an area where one of our group lives, and
Good.
we ride the trails there. So it is really interesting because we have quite a diverse group. We're from Michigan, West Virginia, Kentucky, Indianapolis area, Washington D.C. area. And,
So but it keeps you going all year round, and that's the main thing.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I really like it. I would suggest to anybody, I'm 60, and I'm out there still biking away, and it's a great way to stay fit, and stay active.
Okay. So 3rd down and 5 for Hillsdale. 3 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Graham in the backfield to the right. Stewart calls out the blocking schemes. And again, it's bounce motion again. Stewart gets ready. There's the snap. Oh, it's O'Brien in the backfield. Stewart steps up in the middle of the field. What a strike to Brock at the 2-yard line. And just like that, a 27-yard pass. And, Chuck, that was probably the best pass we've seen since maybe the second quarter out of Stewart, as far as just throwing a line and led the receiver, just enough.
Yeah, that's right. He threw a laser in there, Bill. And, again, nice job by the receiver to get in front of number 7, Key Beckham, and just not give him any chance to make a play on the football. That was a great throw.
Okay, we've got Brock out to the left, wing to the right, I formation for the Chargers. They look, and they get the ball in. It looks like it was caught.
Yeah, well, I guess that ruled a catch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, I couldn't really tell, but it looked like he got under it. And so Trey Brock with the reception from the 2-yard line.
And I'll tell you, Bill, give Brock some credit on that play because the corner had lined up really far inside
Yeah,
to
he
try to
sure
take that
did.
slant away, but Brock did a nice job fighting through that and be able to get open for the touchdown.
And Stewart put the ball low enough that he could go down underneath that, which makes it really hard to defend by the defender.
Exactly.
Okay, so Joe Phillips up for the kick. And with 7:52 to go in the third quarter, it is 30-21.
31.
And 31. So 31-21. And so we'll have the kickoff up and coming. Guys, there's a little game tonight over in Happy Valley. And so what's your opinions on the Buckeyes and Nittany Lions?
Lions by 7.
Wow.
Lions by 7? Really?
Rick Phillips, Lions by.
It's another reason
So call
why
Rick.
Rick is not on the mic today. That's another reason right there.
Rick didn't want to say that on the air there.
He might not have survived the ride home.
No, I
if he
don't
said
think-
that on the air.
I'm gonna go with the Buckeyes, but I know the play in the Happy Valley is just a bear.
I think the thing I'm interested to see is how Dwayne Haskins responds to this kind of limelight, which, granted, TCU was a tough place to go to, but
Yeah, but I didn't think he seemed overly rattled by that either.
I didn't think he did
I
either.
thought that the Buckeyes didn't play that well in the first half, but I don't think it was necessarily his fault.
No. What I'm saying is I think he passed that test, but I think it's a little bit different when you're in the Big Ten and you're going to someone that you know a little bit better.
That's right. So a little little shift here by the Pioneers. They actually shift
Doolin
back into the up position, and he's able to field the kick and brings it up to about the 35-yard line. So that's where the Pioneers will take over 1st and 10.
a little coaching move there, which you want to get the ball in Doolin's hands, especially when he's one of the top kick returners in the
Yeah, that's
country.
exactly right. And again, they waited till the exact last second to shift that.
Yep.
All right, so the Pioneers will take over 1st and 10 from their own 36. And again, it's going to be Singleton in the backfield, along with the quarterback DeAndre Clayton. 2-by-2 look here. 2 receivers to the top and the bottom of the formation. Now we get motion across. Going to be a handoff to the motion man. No, a fake. Clayton keeps
Zone
it.
read off the jet.
So Clayton's going to gain we'll call it a gain of about 6 yards.
Yeah.
So that's going to make it 2nd and 4 now from the 42-yard line.
Could be 6 3/4. I'm not sure. But did you bring the micrometer?
I think Rick left the micrometer in Jeffersonville. So
He didn't bring it with him.
yeah. Okay, so 2nd and 4 now. This time we got an H-back in the backfield and a pistol set. Clayton calls for it now, makes an adjustment. There's the snap. This time the give is to Singleton up the middle, and Singleton hits
Singleton with a nice run up to the 40.
Yeah, he's going to get all the way down to the 40-yard line of Hillsdale, so that's where, again, the drive will continue 1st and 10 from the 40-yard line.
Yep.
And again, like we talked about, we've seen some offensive power in this game, and doesn't seem to be letting up here.
Nice thing is that Malone, no matter what's happened here, has bounced back, right at the end of the half. And in this situation, they've gone down by 10, but they're coming right back at it, Chuck.
Yeah, that's right. So H-back in the backfield again for the Pioneers.
Singleton off the left side, 30, 25, 20.
Singleton finally forced out of bounds, but again, not before he was able to pick up a 1st down and
Nice
about
job
10
following
more.
his blocker.
Yeah,
it really was.
Yeah, he picked his way very well on that. And
so all the way down to the 18-yard line.
Number 50 is down on the field for the Chargers. And let's see if he's...
Yeah, that's Nate Canterbury, one of the defensive linemen.
Yeah.
6'3", 265-pound junior out of Indianapolis.
And Nate was trying to crawl back to his sideline there. Let's hope he's not too badly hurt.
He's a long way to go.
Yeah, he did.
About 40 yards away. 35 maybe.
Appears that they're working on his knee there. So
6:34 to go in the 3rd quarter. And,
looks like he's going to...
Relatively
Could be a cramp.
quick moving clock here.
Although we're getting down to that part of the season now where we'll see the less cramps with the temperatures dropping and that. So, yeah, it is definitely warmer out there. So we've got the Pioneers driving at the 18-yard line, 1st and 10. And let's see if Malone is able to finish this drive, Chuck.
All right, so 2-by-1 look. And again, pistol formation with Singleton lined up behind Clayton. H-back to the right of the formation. Clayton gets the snap.
Singleton again.
Yep, little dive up the middle. Singleton able to pick up, we'll call it about 2.5 yards. So it's going to bring up 2nd and a long 7 here from the 21-yard line.
Merrick Canada on the tackle, the star linebacker.
Star in 2 countries.
Rick's still on that 7-point Penn State win prediction
All right,
there.
5 wide look for Clayton. Clayton now on a draw up the middle. And he's able to fall forward. Picks up, we'll call it about 4.
Yeah, not bad.
Going to leave them at about 2nd and 4, or 3rd and 4, from the 11-yard line.
Middle linebacker Jay Rose on the stop, and Rose has been a pretty active player here.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Clayton kind of takes his safety in his own hands there when he goes up against Rose in the middle.
Yeah. Rose had 4 tackles in the first half.
All right, so this time 4 receivers to the top of the formation, and Doolin all by himself at the bottom. Clayton in the backfield alone, looking for Doolin in the corner, throws it up. Doolin goes up and gets it.
Oh, but it's going to be pass interference.
Oh, definitely pass interference there on that one. And, again, Doolin not able to haul it in, but
Jason
There's going to be pass interference.
Yeah, Jason McDonough, he was just all over him like a drape.
And I think that was one where he figured he'd rather give up the penalty than give up the 6 points.
Yeah, I agree. So Malone is in the red zone, and guys, they're about to make this a 3-point game.
Yes, they are. Again, it's been a very competitive matchup.
Yeah. And, we've had good fortune to have some really good football games this year with
yes, we have.
With Mount St. Joseph and Malone and Urbana. Of course, the PAFL championship game. Except for the rain.
That's right. So, again, the pistol formation now for the Pioneers.
And Singleton.
Yeah, the give is a Singleton
Wow.
in the middle, and he's going to barrel forward for a touchdown. So that's going to push the score now to 31-27. But again, we've still got a PAT to go. Pioneers are going to try to get this within a field goal with 5:05 to go here in the third quarter.
Boy, some nice movement up front for Malone on that. I mean, you could see a little bubble develop there that they came off the ball so hard and made it a lot easier for Singleton to get into the end zone.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, they moved the whole line of scrimmage forward at least a yard.
Oh, yeah.
So, Singleton already had an automatic yard before he ever saw anybody. So the kick is up, and it is good. So, again, with 5:05 to go here in the quarter, your score now Hillsdale 31, Malone 28.
Yep. So Rick picks Penn State by 7.
That's been documented. It's on the airwaves.
I would say, though,
It'll live forever in cyberspace.
win by more than 10.
Yeah.
So now Rick is
For Ohio State today,
floundering,
it's just
saying
important that they win.
Yes.
that is
Yeah, it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 10 or 21. But, that would be my main thing is we'll see how Haskins responds to that. And, no, it's not it hasn't. Well, I shouldn't say it hasn't been a lucky place
certainly
because
not happy for visitors.
yeah, Ohio State's had good success there, but they've not been easy games.
They've had some disappointments there as well. Though.
Yeah.
For a while, that's for sure.
Well, does Michigan still have a team? Oh yeah, they do. Huh?
They've got uniforms.
Oh yeah, Hillsdale. I'm sorry. Yeah, they got uniforms and.
It's great. So the Pioneers set to kick off now, and
this goes back to Graham, I believe.
Right about the 3-yard line.
Up over to 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, and that's where he's going to stop.
Nice return.
Yeah, good return.
Yes, it was.
And so Graham with the return. And
Well, I would say up to this point I've been impressed with Malone's ability to be resilient and come back.
yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, they've answered the bell every time they've got down by a larger margin. So we'll see what Hillsdale does here if they can continue to push this lead. Stewart's going to be under center. We'll see. It looks like Graham in the backfield, bounce motion by the slot. And there's a give to Graham, and Graham's up to the 35, just maybe a couple feet beyond it. So about a gain of 1.
Just too much penetration by this Pioneer D-line.
Yeah, and, the center for Hillsdale, Drew Callahan, is one of the players that we were told to have been identified as a prospect. But to this point, the middle of the line has not had a lot of success moving the Pioneer front. So Stewart in the gun. He rolls to his left. He looks. He gets the ball out to the flats really quickly. And we'll see who that is. I think it's 35, John Brennan, on the catch. It is the tight end. And so that's going to bring up 3rd and 5 from the 40-yard line. And,
Let's see if Malone can get a stop here. That's what they really need.
Yeah, they do. And that's been the tale that, for both teams is they really haven't stopped either team a whole lot of times. So 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Stewart drops quick. He looks, gets the ball to Maloney, and Maloney's over to 40, down to the 30, down over to 30 to the 28-yard line. And, boy, I'll tell you what, Maloney has been open on those crossing routes sometimes.
Yeah, he was, and I'll tell you, nice job finding him open in space. And
Yep.
a lot of room to
Okay,
run
we
there
got
for Maloney.
we empty Hillsdale empties it, gets it out quick to Graham, and Graham just picks up a couple.
Yeah, we're going to have illegal participation, though, Bill. The Pioneers had 12 men on the field trying to make a substitution there. They just didn't get a chance to get him off.
And that was just nice recognition by Hillsdale to try to get up there and get it going. Wow, they caught him in transition on that.
Yep.
So I'll tell you what, the officials are. Hey, do you got your flag? What's in your pocket? So I just did a free commercial for somebody. Okay, we got two receivers to the right, double tight, and there's Stewart. He rolls to his right, he drops, he looks, gets it off to Graham in the flats over to 20, 15 down to the 14-yard line. Good for a first down for Hillsdale.
I'll tell you, really nice check down there by the quarterback.
It was a great check down. And you know what I've been impressed with Stewart is Stewart sometimes has been able to step towards the line of scrimmage and then drop again and reset his feet, and he still gets the ball off, which is pretty impressive for a 6'6" kid.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You talked about some of these guys being prospects, and I'll tell you, with the exception of him missing on a few deep balls,
Yep.
He's looked pretty good today for a 6'6" kid.
I agree. And, one of those kids who may get a look somewhere. So give to Graham. Graham is over to 10, down to the 5, inside the 5, down to the 4.
Nice job by Graham breaking a tackle right there at the point of attack.
And that was all Graham. There was not a lot of help for him. He just kept his feet moving, and it's going to be a little bit short of a first down at the 5-yard line.
I think that might be DeLacy Bass laying on the field there a little shaken up.
So 2:36 to go in the third period, and this has been a rapid game here, guys. This thing has been flying along. And we just haven't had a lot of, stoppage of action. Even though you've had scoring, hasn't even been a lot of incompletions where, you have teams throwing the ball 40, 45 times, and half of them are on the ground. So this game has moved at a good pace.
Yeah, 2:36 to go here in the third quarter. And
So
again, Hillsdale still leading by a field goal, but a very competitive game, like we mentioned several times already in this half. It has not disappointed.
No, it's been everything we expected. Of course, Hillsdale sitting at 2-0 in the GMAC and 3-1 overall. And boy, what a chance for the Pioneers to show that they belong with the big boys here if they were able to knock off Hillsdale, and that would put them right back in that race. Giving Hillsdale a loss and leaving Tiffin with the only unblemished record in the league. So, this is a big opportunity, but the Pioneers have to answer here and just limit the damage that Hillsdale does.
That's right. A lot of Dragons are now Pioneer fans for today.
And that's very true. So, Stewart tossed to Graham. Graham cuts inside and just walks into the end zone.
Yeah,
Too easy.
Yeah.
virtually untouched right there. Virtually untouched.
Yeah, and that was good patience by Graham. He watched the defense overplay the pitch and just cut back inside, and really embarrassing, just kind of walked into the end zone on that one. So 2:22 to go. It's 37-28 in favor of Hillsdale with the Phillips extra point upcoming.
Hey, that's the third or fourth time, Bill, I've seen that where Hillsdale's played that pitch and again just kind of played the overcommit where it looks like it's a wide toss, but it really ends up being more of an off-tackle play.
Yeah, it sure does. And, that's I think the new thing that you're seeing with running backs is the Le'Veon Bell slow start type of thing where they really don't press the line of scrimmage really quickly, and they're allowing the defense to over-pursue, and they're looking for the cutback lanes.
Right. And
those type of things go in trends. There'll be another running back. They'll come up with some technique, and then everybody will start doing that. And football is a game of trends, as we've seen over the years with the different offenses and, of course, different defenses that you see. And, of course, this is no different with the running backs.
Right.
So let's see what the Pioneers do with this kickoff return.
All right, so again, at the start here, we have dual and deep, but that's the way they started last time. We saw he he and the other player flip in the formation. So we'll see if that happens again. Of course, Dakota Hobbs being the other receiver we're talking about there.
And Phillips gets ready to kick off. You know, the thing here is, boy, if you happen to kick that down the middle too short and Doolin does get a running start on it, that could be a bad combination for Hillsdale.
Yeah, that's right. A running start, he may not stop.
He might not. Until he's to the Hall of Fame.
May not stop even then.
Yeah, might not.
And it is a short kick, and it's going to be Hobbs fielding it on the 20.
Oh, he's up over to 30.
Yeah, taking all the way across the field. And
Oh, no.
another one there. So.
Oh, now this.
Act, react.
Yeah, I was going to say, there you go. So this is going to be
could
off.
have 2 flags on the same player right there.
I could be.
And we know the second one's a personal foul.
Yeah.
So.
I didn't think there were that many zebras on the field to throw that.
There's a lot of laundry down there for sure. I count 5 guys and I see 4 flags. So.
Oh, my God. Well, they got to, the flags have to breathe too, guys. They got to get them out of the pocket every now and then.
So the first call is holding against the Pioneers, and again, that's the first penalty. But the second penalty is a dead ball foul, which is really going to hurt. Be 15 yards tacked on the end of that. So big penalty that's really going to hurt the Pioneers here as they try to get back in this football game. Now find themselves down by 10 points and a hole because they're going to be way deep in their own territory.
Yeah, definitely the type of times that they've got to just show some restraint and good judgment as far as not hurting your team. But it's hard to tell, college kids to restrain those emotions sometimes.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, those NFL guys, sometimes it's hard to tell 30-year-old guys that.
Yeah, very true.
All right, so it's going to be 1st and 10 from the 12-yard line. So, again,
damaging.
Very, very costly penalty for the Pioneers as they come out and, again, try to answer that last drive by the Hillsdale Chargers. So with 2:14 to go here in the third quarter, again, Hillsdale now up 38-28. And, again, like I just mentioned, Pioneers trying to answer here with 1st and 10 from their own 12-yard line.
But the Pioneers have been able to do it several times here, so we'll see if they're able to answer again.
That's right. So another pistol formation for the Pioneers. Turns around, and the give is to
Blazall, I think.
it is Blaziola.
Yep.
And, again, Blaziola able to pick up about 3 yards. Going to make it 2nd and 7 now from just across the 15-yard line.
And of course, even with a 10-point lead here, with a quarter to go, Malone doesn't have to throw caution to the wind, so they can be deliberate in their game plan and get this back to a 3-point game and put the pressure back on Hillsdale.
Yeah, that's right, and I think we've seen that throughout the game. So Clayton again with the snap throws, and it's going to be incomplete. Intended for, can't get the number from the side there. Help me out there.
This is number 10.
10? Okay, that would, well, I doubt it. That's a linebacker. So. Either way, we got an incomplete pass there from Clayton, so falls harmless incomplete. Going to make it 3rd and 7 now from the 15-yard line. That could be, yeah. Captain
They usually don't catch him there.
There's a reason they're playing linebacker. That's right. So 4 wide, now 5 wide. As the backfield's empty, Clayton all by himself, 3 receivers to the bottom of the formation.
And this has been a quarterback draw situation a lot of times when
Clayton looks, throws it up. He's got a man open.
Oh!
Safety rolls over, makes a nice play on the football.
Number 39, that is Drake Temple.
Really nice play there by Temple to see that and roll over there.
And they're really lucky that Temple didn't pick that one off.
Yeah, they really are, because I'll tell you, the receiver looked like he was pretty open there.
Yeah, and that ball was just launched up in the air.
Okay, so Marcus Muller comes in to punt, and again, going to be standing pretty near his own goal line here. And
Graham.
Hillsdale come close on a couple. Let's see if they come after this one.
And David Graham deep, about the 48-yard line here. And there comes some pressure, but a line drive kick over. Well, Graham gets it back at the 45, up over to 50, up to the 45. And into Pioneer territory at the 45-yard line.
I'll tell you, give Graham some credit there, Bill. I didn't think he was going to be able to field that kick.
I thought that was being driven over his shoulder. But
yeah, he did a nice job catching up to that one.
Yeah, 1:17 to go in third period, 38-28 in favor of the Hillsdale Chargers. And if the Chargers are able to answer here, Chuck, it's going to start getting real tough for the Pioneers.
Yeah, that's right. They're starting to definitely build an insurmountable lead here. Again, only up 10, but given the last few drives, you're right. 17 could be a tough hill to climb.
So Stewart under center, gives it to Graham. Graham bangs forward up to about the 41-yard line, pickup of about 4.
Yeah, he's actually going to have almost 5 yards there, Bill. So.
Oh, that's O'Brien. Check that on the carry.
Yeah, nice leg drive by O'Brien there. Not give up on that run.
Casey O'Brien. He's not Irish, I don't think.
No, what would give you that impression?
just a feeling in a fighter's corner there. 3 receivers to the right. Back offset to the right is Stewart. Stewart gives the ball to O'Brien. He's over to 35-30, down to the 26-yard line. And nice run by O'Brien. Boy, that was a huge hole for O'Brien.
Yeah, it really was. We talked in the first half about the Pioneers being able to exploit some of those defensive alignments of Hillsdale. And there you see the exact opposite. Hillsdale able to take advantage of a poor alignment by the D-line there, the Pioneers.
Yeah, sure was. So 2 to the right, 1 to the left. O'Brien off to the left of Stewart. Stewart looks, gets the ball, gives it to O'Brien again. O'Brien, nothing going there. He will be lucky if he got back to the line of scrimmage on that one.
They are going to mark forward progress to the line of scrimmage, but you're right, Bill. Just too much hesitation for O'Brien on that one.
And it looks like Hillsdale will be content to just run out the quarter here. So we're at the end of the third quarter with the score 38 for the Hillsdale Chargers and 28 for the Malone Pioneers. And guys, where they really have got to just bow up and stop this drive because, 3 points makes a 2-score game. But if they get that touchdown, we're looking at a 3-score game. And it's not impossible, but it's less likely at that point.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We talked about both offensive schemes today have really kept the clock moving, and that's really going to start to work against the Pioneers here in the fourth quarter if they do go down by another touchdown. Last
week the Pioneers were in a shootout with Kentucky Wesleyan, which was 44-38, which was the second most points that Malone had ever scored in a losing effort. And
ironically, the first was also with Kentucky Wesleyan, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and they're looking like they're on pace to be in another kind of shootout like that here.
Yeah, that's right. But again, they've got to get a stop here and get themselves back in it.
Yes, they do. So we've got Brock to the right and Maloney to the left. Graham in the backfield. Stewart under center. Double tight formation. And Stewart brings Maloney in motion. Bounces him back. And it's a boot, and there's Maloney open again over the middle. How many times? And if Maloney's dragging him all the way down to the 4-yard line, he's still – they finally whistle him dead.
He never went down. The Pioneers, just going for a turnover, trying to strip the ball there.
How many times have we seen Maloney do that bounce motion and Graham roll to his right and just – Maloney be so wide open in the middle of the field?
More than once, that's right.
Yeah, it's probably bordering on 5 or 6 times he's been able to do that. Okay, so we've got 2 receivers to the left. O'Brien in the backfield with Stewart. Stewart under center. And a little pitch to Stewart, and he bounces it out to the outside. And, wow, and we're going to get a face mask on that one.
Pretty obvious face mask there. This would look like yes, Rick, that's right.
When his head spins around like the Exorcist, we know there's something wrong there.
Thank you, Rick. That's right.
Yeah.
I said it was obvious. I said it was an obvious one.
Oh my God.
So not gonna equal a huge penalty here given the field position, but it's gonna get them a little closer to the goal line here.
For sure. Huh?
Going to get it all the way down to the 2-yard line, so that's where the Chargers will continue this drive. Again, going to be first and goal from the 2.
Get the freeze baby over here as Marianne wishes she was back on the island with Gilligan and Skipper right now. Okay, give to O'Brien. Oh, O'Brien.
Touchdown.
Great fake by Stewart. I wasn't quite sure there for a second, guys, whether Stewart had the ball or not, but boy, O'Brien just rode on that, took it into the end zone. And really kind of similar to the play with Graham down here is where the defense over pursued and he gave the ball off to O'Brien. He read the flow and cut it right back into it.
Yeah, that's right. So again, that pushes the lead to 16, pending the PAT here. And again, the Pioneers really need to get something going here this next drive if they want to hang around this ball game.
Yeah, I would say. Phillips with the kick. And there is their 45th point.
All right, so with 14:01 left to play here, folks, again, your score is Hillsdale 45 and Malone 28. But again, Malone will have the kickoff here coming up.
With Malone being down 17, though, they're going to get out of their game plan. I think they've done best when they've balanced their attack.
I agree with you. When they mix it up, they've done better. You're right, 100%. So, yeah, they're going to be a lot more one-dimensional right now.
And we've got some third quarter stats. So for Hillsdale, we've got Chance Stewart, 25 of 36, 382 yards, 4 touchdowns. Nice game for him.
Wow.
David Graham, 10 carries for 41 yards and a touchdown. Connor Maloney, 5 catches for 100 yards. And then, of course, we've got Trey Brock, 9 catches, 173 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Wow. So there's a rundown on the Hillsdale.
Yeah, and I don't know how you could say a quiet 173 yards, but it does kind of seem that way. Honestly, he hasn't.
It's second half.
Some catches,
yeah, I agree.
Not a huge impact.
No. As you said, Chuck, you brought out a great point. Eyes have been on Brock most of the game. He still gets his yards and that, but it's not all the time.
Right. So another flip in the kick, and
I think that's Doolin.
Yeah, it is.
Yep, it is going to be Doolin, and he's going to get it up to just shy of the 40-yard line. And
yeah.
So that's where the Pioneers will begin this drive here, close to midfield. So, good field position to start.
Yeah, I really like Doolin's first step, and I think that's the thing that the pros will look at is he accelerates so quickly out of the first step. And if there was a criticism of Brock, I think that might be the thing, watching him run routes, is his acceleration might not be the same as Doolin. But
I'll tell you, Brock has proven that he's a great possession receiver.
Well, and he can run routes well.
Right.
And he
seems to find open spots on the field.
Right.
Yep.
And he can get up off the ground, which is, definitely worth something when it's a contested football.
Right. Okay, so play action fake now, looking for Doolin, but a little bit behind him, so it falls incomplete. He did have to slide down and try to make a play, but again, a very difficult catch if he would have made it. So that's going to make it 2nd and 10 now from the 38. And again, the Pioneers really in a tough spot here.
Yeah, Drake Temple was right in that area, and Temple's been pretty active here in the second half in the secondary.
So Clayton now 16 for 24 on the game, has 133 yards and a touchdown. 4 receivers, 2 to each side of the formation. The fake and the throw to the left flat is complete, and makes a nice catch there, and I'm not sure, but if I had to bet, I bet that was Doolin.
And nice job there. I don't know who put the block on Jason McDonough, but it was the triggering block that allowed that gain and a first down.
Yeah, that's right, and that's the critical part there. The first down keeps the chains moving. It's now 1st and 10 from the 48. So again, the Pioneers looking across midfield here. 4 wide receivers set, 3 to the bottom of the formation. Pistol again with Blaziola at the tailback.
Oh, pressure. And
steps up in the pocket, throws.
Oh!
How could you drop that?
Yeah, I'll tell you, intended for Dakota Hobbs and a little bit behind him, but again, you're right. He definitely had the ball on him, could have caught it.
Yeah, Clayton had to get rid of it because
incomplete.
Van Valkenburg was breathing down his neck, and he gets the ball away.
Yeah, really a nice effort by
Clayton.
He
made a nice job stepping up in the pocket.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
And you got to make that catch. That's one that in this situation, they've just got to come down with that.
Yeah, so another 5-wide look now with 4 receivers to the bottom of the field. Clayton gets the snap, looks, throws, and again, a little bit low and a little outside, incomplete. So, that's where the drive's going to stall there as we come up on what's now 3rd and long.
So let me ask you this, guys. You gained 5 yards here. Does this become 4-down territory being down by 17 points.
Yeah, I think down by 3 scores, given this field position, I think, yeah, Bill, this probably is about go for it time
Yeah.
because, again, they really haven't proven that they can stop Hillsdale in this
Right.
half. And I think if they give it up again, they're just going to find themselves in a bigger hole.
And you don't know how many more times you're going to get down in this area here. So
That's right. So, again, 3rd and 10 now. Clayton looks, steps up, throws. Got
nice
that
throw.
wide open.
Hobbs,
Yeah, and it's Hobbs this time again in the middle of the field, wide open.
30-yard
all the way
line.
down to the 30, so that's good for a first down. And again, nice job of field position here for the Pioneers.
Nice 20-yard pickup there. And you got to be impressed with Clayton because, Clayton's numbers coming in were modest as a quarterback, but I've been impressed with his ability to step up. And
Yeah, he's been one cool customer back
yeah,
there. That's
sure
for sure.
has.
So 1st and 10 again here from the 30-yard line of Hillsdale. 4 wide receiver set, 3 to the bottom. Pistol formation, Blasiola the tailback. Drops back, now steps up in the pocket, looks to the middle of the field, and he's got a
Ooh.
completion. And it looks
I
like,
tell you
yeah,
what,
it looks like
Drake,
it was Hobbs again.
Drake Temple came with bad intentions on that one.
Yes, he did. But again, Dakota Hobbs with a nice little catch over
Yes,
the middle
indeedy.
for another first down, all the way down to the 18-yard line.
It's very reminiscent of a player from Urbana, Tobias Haley, who likes to come in real hard on the ball.
That's for sure. So, again, 3-by-1 look. Drops back, throws, he's looking for the corner of the end zone. Oh, and again, look for Doolin, but Doolin just never really had a chance to get to that ball.
And you could have said there was a little holding on the behalf of Hillsdale, but I think the fact that it wasn't a catchable ball probably negated the fact that they were going to call anything on that.
Yeah, but was it uncatchable because Doolin was never
I don't
given
think
the opportunity to
I
get
don't
there?
think so because it looked like a stop and go route, and
Yeah, I agree with you, and he just got held up.
yeah, I don't think that they were going to call that.
No, I agree with you. So, again, 4 wide receiver set, 2 to each side of the formation. Again, Blasiola deep in the pistol.
Ooh, a
Throws
little
it
pressure there, but
left
nice,
flat.
nice job getting the ball out.
That was a nice catch, too.
Yeah, it really
Yeah, it
was.
sure was.
He got up on his shoulder pads and he was able to haul it in there.
Yeah.
And that was Doolin, I believe, there on the catch.
Got that ball out quickly, and that's the thing is you're going to beat the rush, get the ball out fast.
That's right. So, again, 4 wide look, 2 receivers each side of the formation. Pistol formation in the backfield. There's the snap. Throw this time to the right side, caught in the flat and knocked out of bounds.
It's Hobbs, I believe.
Yeah, Hobbs with a quick, short little gain there, but gets it up almost to the first down marker. It's going to make it now 4th and very short
Knocked out by Drake Temple.
on about the 8-yard line. So, again, huge 4th down here for the Pioneers.
11:35 to go in the fourth quarter. Pioneers threatening to cut it down to 10 points.
All right, so we're going to have 2 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom. We do have an H-back, and then Blasiola at tailback is in a pistol.
Ooh,
And it's going to be Blasiola.
I
straight
think
up
it's
the
enough for
middle,
a
and-
first down, Chuck.
Yeah, I think it is. Yep, and it is. They wave the sticks forward. So, again, now going to put them at 1st and goal from about the 7. We'll call it the 7-yard line. So, again, with just outside of 11 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter, the Pioneers trailing by 17. You really need to get a touchdown here.
Yeah, they do.
So another 5 wide look for Clayton. He's going to have 3 receivers to the top, to the wide side of the field. There's a snap. Clayton,
And it's
quarterback
keep
draw.
by Clayton, and Clayton's going to.
Yeah.
In you go.
Oh, not quite walk in, but pretty darn
Yeah,
close. So.
just a little friction on the way
Yeah,
in, but not much.
Little love shove there as he ran
Yeah.
by, but again gets in the end zone. So pending the PAT here, they're now down by 11. So nice drive by the Pioneers there to really hang around this football game.
Yeah, sure was. So with the extra point up and coming, the Pioneers can cut it to 10. But now the hard part for them is to get a defensive stop here, Chuck.
Yeah, you're right, and that's going to be the key right here. Hillsdale really, if they want to put this game away,
Right.
really needs to put a nice drive together here and can really slam the door on the Pioneers here
Yep.
if they're able to do that.
10:41 to go, fourth period. Hillsdale 45, Malone 35. And so, if you're the offensive coaches for Hillsdale, you're saying, guys, this is the key drive. We go down, we put one in, we go up 17, 3 scores with probably, let's say there's 6 minutes to go. It looks bad for Malone. Malone's defensive coaches are saying, we need this stop.
Yep.
So let's see how this drive plays out, because this will really dictate the ball game.
Yeah, that's right. And I'll tell you, I don't want to be over dramatic, but given all the parameters and everything, this might be their biggest defensive stand of the season right here.
Yeah, very true.
We're
Because
only in week 4, but again, given their record right now and
sure,
everything else.
well, you talk about a pivotal game when you're 1-2, and it doesn't seem like it's that far into the season. But when you go to 1-3, now you start to feel like you're on that side of the ledger, and it's going to be a fight to get back. But if you go to 2-2, and now you give Hillsdale a loss, you're feeling pretty good about yourself at this point of the year.
Yeah, that's right. You're right back in the
Plus,
race.
you're scoring lots of points.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So here we got a real nice kick, going to drive him all the way back into the end zone, and
Wow, nice
he won't.
kick.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. He won't even
Excellent
attempt
kick.
to bring it out. So it's going to come out to the 25, or it'll be 1st and 10. And again, let's see if the Pioneers can step up here, or if the Chargers can
Put the nail in the coffin.
get a nice drive here and
Yep.
seal the deal.
So Hillsdale takes it at the 25. They got Graham in the backfield. They're going to go 3 receivers to the right. And so, do you put your foot down on the pedal here if you're Hillsdale, or do you just start to try to grind it a little bit and eat some clock?
I'll tell you, the way they've run the ball in the second half, I would grind.
Oh,
it right
nice
here.
spot pass there.
Just as I say that, they come out on 1st down and throw it and get a 1st down. But,
15.
That's why you're up here.
That's right. Yeah, that's why my days down there are done.
A quick 15-yard pickup there. A nice job by Austin Sandusky. He just settles right in the crease of the zone and catches the ball. Pitch and catch. Very easy.
All right, so another 1st down. This is up to 39-yard line.
Short wing here. Bounce motion. 2 receivers up to the top. A little play action fake.
Oh, wide open.
And then they get Maloney again.
Have we seen that before? Maloney wide open on a bootleg?
Yeah. And, it's kind of like a smash route. They have that under route going underneath it coming in.
It's a clear out. You're right.
Yeah, and then he just slides all the way across the field and finds that gap. Nice play by Maloney.
And it's just been there all day.
And Graham reads the block, up over to 35, 30, 25, stumbles over to 20, down to the 11-yard line, maybe the 10-yard line.
With that blocker in front of him, Bill, if he hadn't stumbled, that might be a touchdown.
Oh, I think it would have been.
Wow.
Oh, I feel bad for him. It's just that he lost his footing a little bit and could have scored. But what a nice drive.
The silver lining is it's going to allow some more clock to run for Hillsdale.
Yeah, that's true. 9:32 to go in the 4th quarter, 45-35 Hillsdale. 3 receivers to the left. Stewart under center. Gives it to Graham. Graham's up to the 5. Bowls his way down to the 3. Wow, that was a huge hole, guys. Huge hole there. And we're looking at 2nd and goal from the 3-yard line. And this has got to be kind of disheartening for Malone because, we know what the defensive coach has said. And for Hillsdale to come in here and just rip down the field like that, that's got to be a punch in the gut.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Took the words right out of my mouth. A big gut punch right there.
Yeah. So, Doug, I appreciate you coming down and spending some time here with us at the Hall of Fame Stadium and
I really appreciate the invitation.
being on Campus Nation. And hopefully maybe in the future we'll get you on some more games when we get up in this area.
That'd be nice. I like that. I think you guys really give you some credit. I see a great situation here, and hopefully more growth for you guys.
Yeah, well,
We appreciate that.
give all the credit there to Rick Phillips. He's the visionary here.
Well, not all the credit.
2 receivers each side. Well, 3 to the left. Motion.
Uh-oh.
Stewart looks. He rolls to his right. He still doesn't want to run.
Back.
And he throws a pick. Go down, son. Go down.
What's he doing?
He's going to go out. So that'll be a touchback. But, yeah, I'll tell
Wow.
you. Coaching heart attacks going on up here in the booth right now.
So let's see. It depends on what the call is, guys. If it's defensive holding or some such thing.
Yeah, but
But I don't think it is.
A holding.
Yeah,
well,
it's
I'll
holding.
tell you, given the way that
Yeah, it's
leaving the field, it's going to be a turnover.
So a big stop.
Yeah.
Huge stop.
Yeah, that's right.
And, Stewart, he just doesn't really want to run. But I would say he had 5 yards to the end zone, and it was a clear 5 yards.
Well, I'll tell you, really, I think he had whatever he wanted there. He had 3 receivers in a flood to the left side of the formation, and it looked like at least 2 of those 3 were open. I don't know why he didn't throw it, honestly.
Well, I think it pulled those guys off the goal line. So even if he runs the ball, at the very worst, he gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that's right, and probably gets down at least to the 1, if not scores.
Right. So,
But nonetheless, it's
Yeah.
now 1st and 10 for
So-
the Pioneers.
Yep, the Pioneers at the 20, and they are getting ready to go here, and they get a
Nice little
Wow,
completion.
he caught that.
nice
Yes,
catch
he
by
did.
Doolin.
Of course, that's Doolin, and that's going to be very close to a first down. So, again, the Pioneers, the clock kind of working against them now, down by 10. They need to get to the line of scrimmage quickly, and they do. So, 2nd and short now.
And the defense has to step up here for Hillsdale now.
Yeah, they do. So, nice
And
little
then-
run off the right side. Going
Nice.
to be good for a first down up to about the 34-yard line. And, again, chains moving. Clock will stop temporarily.
Drake Temple and Nate Jones stepping up to make that play.
So, again, 8 minutes to go here in the game. Pioneers break the huddle, come to the line.
Of course, they've got to play with a little urgency with 8 minutes to go in the game
Yeah,
here.
they do. So 3 receivers to the top of the formation. Pistol backfield. Looks like Garland is the back.
Oh, a little pressure there. He
Serious
gets
pressure and throws it away. And
Okay, the question, it doesn't look like they're not going to call grounding
well, I
on it.
think he was back far enough.
Yeah,
to be
that's what I was
considered
gonna
out of
say,
the pocket. Yeah,
It depends on the vision of the pocket.
not sure he was wide enough to be out of the pocket.
That was my contention.
but I
Is
think he was deep enough to be considered that.
Yeah.
So, going to fall harmlessly incomplete. So, going to make it 2nd and 10 now from the 34-yard line.
and that's just when you just got to hope that the officials see it your way on that
That's
one.
right. So again, 3 receivers to the top, 1 to the bottom of the formation. Pistol backfield with Garland the tailback. There's the snap.
Oh, and a little
Clayton
quarterback
on the draw
draw,
again.
and that's
Going to be a gain of about 5 yards.
Nate
but,
Jones on the tackle for Hillsdale.
I thought that might have been Rose in there in the middle stepping up again, but you're right,
Well-
Jones this time.
Well, Rose and Jones rotate. They are the consummate combination middle linebacker there. They seem to every other series they have a different middle guy in
Bill,
there.
you need to come up with a middle linebacker word for C so you can go consummate combination or something else. So 3rd and 5. I like your alliterative style today, Bill.
Okay, you
Nice.
like that? There
Very
you go.
Nice. 3
So
receivers to the top, pistol formation.
little pressure there.
Clayton throws over the middle.
Oh! Right into the hands of Alex Anschutz.
Yeah, Alex was going to be seeing that one tonight on the bus home.
Yeah,
'Cause he just about had a pick there, a really nice one.
yeah. And
Fell
really,
right out of his hands.
been a pretty turnover-free game here, guys.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
really has. I other than that touchdown in the last drive, or the interception,
Yeah.
in the last drive in the end
Yep,
zone,
yep.
I can't think of any.
Well,
It looks like they are 4th and 5, and
boy, it's
again, Malone's forced to punt.
this is that danger zone where if you turn it over here,
Well, there's 7 minutes, and they got 3 timeouts, so
yeah,
I think they're okay. But
yeah. Oh, and it's picked up by it's Graham, and Graham's up the 35-yard line.
yeah, risky going after that punt there, Coach. At least in my mind.
Yeah, but you got to like the aggressive style. I mean, if
Oh, you wouldn't have liked the 5-yard running into the penalty.
he wouldn't have, but I mean, sometimes you got to roll those dice, because if you get that play, then game, set, match there. But
Yeah, that's right. So just under 7 minutes to go in the game now. Again, Hillsdale holding on to a 10-point lead. They just gotten the ball back.
so 3 receivers to the right. We've got Stewart in the gun with Graham to his right, and he gets ready for the snap of the ball. And a little play, just like they opened last time, guys. They found that little stop route to Sandusky.
Notice I kept my mouth shut about running the clock this time. though.
But, that one does keep the clock running there.
It
With
does. So with the completion, going to be 2nd and 4 now.
it's kind of like the New England dink and dunk.
That's right.
So 3 receivers to the right with Graham to the right. Dink and dunk.
Dink and dunk.
And so there's Stewart gets it out
Oh, nice.
quickly to Sandusky. Sandusky's been, kind of quiet as far as the numbers, but he's caught a lot of passes here.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, that's a big play right there. That first down to move the sticks is, again, not going to show up in the stat books as big,
No.
but still a very nice play and keeps the clock going here on
At
6 minutes, just about to go.
Austin Sandusky had 3 catches for 37 yards going into this quarter, and I think he's had a few more there. So, he's got at least 5 or 6 catches today.
Okay.
Wing bounce motion. We got 2 receivers down to the left. Give to Graham. Graham's up over to 50, trips up, and gets down to about the 47 of Malone, 48. And so second, and boy, this is one of those gravy downs here, guys. 2nd and 4. There's just so many things you can do here if you want to.
Yeah, that's right. Again, the Chargers are riding a gravy train with biscuit wheels right now.
Thank you for your kingpin reference for today.
I do Bill with love.
We
now.
did. That was our second kingpin reference.
That's right.
So we got 2 receivers to the left, I formation. Stewart under center, gives the ball to Graham. Graham, just a couple yards up to the 46.
Nice movement now out of the Hillsdale line. They're really
3rd and about
establishing
2.
that line of scrimmage.
And I would say here, guys, now you wouldn't think this would be 4-down territory, but if it's 4th and short, I got to believe they go for it instead of kicking just to eat clock up because
I think it depends on how short, but you're right. It wouldn't be a bad time to do that.
yeah, because if they get the first down, you break their back, and that's really what Hillsdale's trying to do here is just to just run it out. 2 receivers each side here, tight end to the left, bounce motion. Graham in the backfield. Stewart gives the ball to Graham again. And he is going to be short.
Yeah.
He is going to be, I don't even know if they give him a.
Yeah, a little shorter than I thought. That looks like about no gain.
I thought that was a poor mark, but.
I agree with you. I think the forward progress was a little better than that.
Yeah, it should have been the 45-yard line. I thought they'd have about 1 to go.
Yeah,
but
if I was Hillsdale, I'd throw a challenge flag right here.
Oh, wait, you can't do that.
Oh.
So here we go. I formation again, 4th down. Could be a long count here, guys. Hillsdale may try to, get them off. And we'll see if they do that. Nope. A little toss play. And Graham rolls off. I don't think he got it.
No, it's going to be short.
45-yard line, guys.
All right, so again, nice play there by the Pioneers to step up.
It's 3:41 to go in the game. 45-35 Hillsdale. And now the Pioneers,
Yep.
yeah, they need to get down there. And they're going to have to have a little urgency here, guys, because 3:41 is plenty of time to get down there and score, but to give yourself enough time to, if you want to take them out, they've got 3 timeouts, so they could potentially take them on a 3 and out. But then again, you might onside kick. It just depends on how much time they've got left.
Yeah, that's right.
So here is the no back set for Malone, and Clayton is out of the pocket. He's up near the 50-yard line. Maybe. They're going to rule him out of bounds too, guys.
Yeah, but we're going to have a holding call. It's going to be backed up.
That's going to hurt.
It sure will. Nice job by Clayton again to make something happen.
And to get out of bounds too.
Yeah, that's right. But again, it's all going to go for naught because we're going to be looking at a 1st and 20 now for the Pioneers.
Yeah.
Again, like we mentioned, just outside 3 minutes to go here. Malone finds himself trailing by 10, but again, with the ball and chance to make something happen with 3 timeouts left. But, again, big penalty there really hurts them.
Yeah, it sure does.
So 3-by-1 look now. 3 receivers to the bottom of the formation for Clayton. Garland looks to be the back.
The drop.
Clayton drops, steps up, now throws.
Oh, he's got
He's got a
Doolin.
man, Doolin's open.
Oh, and he just underthrew Doolin on that
Yeah, he
one.
sure did. Doolin had to basically stop his route and come back to it and just couldn't get it done. But nice job there by Hillsdale on the coverage. And
yeah. If two things there. Either Clayton gets that out further, or he just has to step up in the pocket and get rid of it a little bit quicker.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not sure. That was if he had anything else to put on that one, but
Yeah, because that was about a 45-yard
yeah,
throw
it sure
there.
was.
Okay.
All right, so 2-by-2 look now in pistol backfield. Clayton gets the snap, drops back.
And Van Valkenburg.
And
Oh, that ball's on the ground too.
yeah, I tell you,
I think it's going to be.
no, they're going to roll it incomplete.
Oh, are they? Okay.
Yeah, I
I
thought
think his arm was coming
Yeah,
forward.
I thought it was knocked down, not knocked out. So that's what happened there. So it is going to be ruled incomplete. So it's going to make it now 3rd and a long way now, though, for the Pioneers.
Yeah, you had Van Valkenburg and Schnell just swatting all over the place trying to knock that ball out, and it
That's
was.
right. It's about 3rd and wheeling now, I think. Long way to go there.
That's a fur piece since we're further north than we normally are.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I was going to say Steubenville. Would that have been closer?
Yeah, that would have been on this side of the state.
3rd and Steubenville?
Yeah, 3rd and Steubenville.
I was trying to think of something north of Wheeling.
Pittsburgh.
All right, so big down here.
Cambridge.
Yeah.
There you go. Cambridge would have been
Oh,
good.
pressure.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Clayton's out.
Yeah.
40, 45,
Uh-oh.
50, 45. He gets the
How about
first
that?
down. Oh, what
How
about that,
about
guys?
that? Boy, Clayton really showing some moves there. Looking like a real magician there, getting out of that. I don't know how he did that, Bill.
Wow. Yeah, I thought he was just going to end up coming up short, and he got skinny there and got right through there.
Really, really impressive run by
Yeah.
DeAndre Clayton there. All right, so again, that resets the downs now, and have a 2-by-1 look. Clayton looks, throws, middle of the field.
Oh, and throws it right to
Oh.
Nate Jones.
Boy, I'll tell you, looking for Dakota Hobbs, but yeah, I don't know if he didn't see Jones coming the other way, but
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, boy, I tell you, what a momentum killer after that great first down,
Yeah.
gain there on the run, but.
And so right here, I expect that Casey O'Brien appears to be the running back. We're going to get a steady diet of O'Brien right and O'Brien left
Yeah,
here.
I think you're exactly right, Bill. With 2:37 to go, the Chargers are just looking to melt this clock away and get out of here with a W.
Stewart under center. We've got a double tight with a wing to the right. And O'Brien in the backfield. They bring Maloney across in motion. Pitch to O'Brien. O'Brien picks his way through 30, 35, 40, 45, back to the 50, over to 50, down to about the 48-yard line. Nice run by Maloney. Very patient.
We're pretty quick. The game's over. Yeah, they're going to bring him to us. Just have the door open.
So, nice patience by O'Brien. He saw the gap open. He put his foot in the ground, got north and south, and picked up 15 real quick.
All right, so again, the clock just keeps rolling here. Again, Hillsdale in no hurry to snap this ball. Probably down to about 2 minutes.
Double tight, wing right, I formation. Stewart under center. Gets ready, gives the ball to O'Brien again. O'Brien cuts to his left, bounces up to about the 46-yard line.
I'll tell you, nice job by whoever that defender was. I think that was was it 20 maybe? Jalen Doss just came up and laid the wood to O'Brien, but
Timeout, Malone.
all right, so 1:57 left to play here, and again, that's Malone's first time out. They do have 2 left.
So this is the drive where they're going to burn the timeouts, guys, and if they can get them to punt. But what's going to be the difficult thing is I don't see Hillsdale punting being on this side of the 50-yard line. So
No, I think you're exactly right, Bill.
this will be 4-down territory, and so Malone's going to have to do it the old-fashioned way here and just stop them on 4 downs. So Malone out of the huddle. Hillsdale is ready. And here comes the Chargers. So they've got splits both sides. O'Brien in the backfield. And don't be surprised if you don't see some kind of short stop route, because we've seen them do this in this situation before.
Right.
So there is the ball to O'Brien. O'Brien bounces to his right, steps up, drives his feet down to about the 42-yard line.
Yeah, I tell you, Bill, that's going to leave them with a third and about 2. And nice little gain there by O'Brien.
Yep.
Another timeout by the Pioneers.
So guys, what do you tell them in the huddle down there? You know, you're looking at 150 to go. You're down by 10. I guess you tell them strip the ball and.
Yeah, that's exactly it. I mean, without the ball back, at this point, it's all, it's already a foregone conclusion. So
Right.
yeah, strip the ball, do anything you can to get the football, and really that's it at this point.
Yeah. And Hillsdale just will be content probably to feed the ball to O'Brien or Graham a couple more times and run this out.
Yeah, and of course, if you're in that Hillsdale huddle, you're telling them the
Tell them to
exact
hold that ball.
opposite.
Yeah, hold on to that ball.
Yeah.
That's right. 2 arms on the football at all times.
3 hands on the ball. So you find that extra hand somewhere, wherever you can find it.
Wherever you can get it. That's
Wherever
right.
you can get it. Double tight formation. We got an I, fullback bounce motions to the wing. And, a little boot pass and a little I think he dropped
yeah,
it.
he did.
But they're going to call a catch on that.
No, this guy down here at the bottom ruled incomplete.
Oh, did he?
Didn't he? Pretty sure he did. The line judge did, yeah. Well, no, the umpire doesn't. Yeah.
No, I think you're right. I think they're going to.
Okay,
No,
they
so
are gonna, yeah.
so 4th down, guys. Whoa, what a big drop. Not surprised by the pass, but they got that ball to the tight end, John Brennan, and John
Surprised they didn't go to Maloney.
I had the same thought. I thought it was going to be Maloney on the move.
Yeah, and with Maloney's results, you would have thought that would have been your safe option. But okay, so I guess do you go for the block? They got a little pressure on it, but
Oh, okay. Well,
they got
they did.
underneath the ball there. And so Doolin, not with much of a chance to return it, but so now you're going to look at the double reverse pass to the quarterback or something like that here. What they call it, the Mayfield special in Cleveland now.
The Baker 1-9.
The Baker.
The Baker's dozen.
Yeah, the Baker's dozen. I think I heard them say they call it the Eagle. As getting that from the Eagles during the Super Bowl. So we've got Clayton drops.
All right, so Clayton looks. Oh, he's got a man open.
And I think it was Doolin.
Yeah, I think it was Doolin. And again, he was open on the sideline, but falls incomplete.
And Doolin made great effort to get it, and that was a tough place to catch the ball there with that sun, setting in the west. That's getting to a point where when you look back over your shoulder in that area of the field, it's going to be a tough place to catch it.
Yeah, that's right. So big 2nd down now for the Pioneers. Come out in another 4 wide receiver look, 2 to each side of the formation. Running back lined up in the pistol formation. There's a snap for Clayton. Clayton looks, steps up.
He's out.
He's going to take off.
And he's getting about
He's
6.
going to gain about 6. Yeah, gets it up to about the 27-yard line, and that's where the clock will be stopped. And
But you got to get 60 instead of 6, Chuck.
that's
thing.
right. And you know what? And probably the worst part about that is that's going to be the last time out for Malone. So it's going to be 3rd and about 3. But again, no timeouts left for the Pioneers.
And
1:23 to go.
Yeah,
Here.
123 and
Down by 10.
Down by 10. So you got to dial up something here quickly so that you got an opportunity for an onside kick. Because with no timeouts, there's no way you're going to kick the ball away. So
Yeah, that's right. Maybe an onside punt.
maybe an onside punt,
Haven't figured out how that works yet.
Nah,
but,
nah. Unless you kick it into somebody, forcing a fumble on that, and then
that takes a lot of aim.
it takes it takes a lot of aim. And you got to hope you get the bounce too.
Yeah, that's right.
So
That's right. So, big 3rd down here for the Pioneers. Obviously, 4-down territory. 3rd and 3 from their own 21.
and a lot of pressure there. Oh, and it's Snell and Van.
Clayton's going to be sacked.
I
And
think it's
with
Van
no
Valkenburg.
timeouts,
Yep.
they're going to be forced to get right to the line and have to run this 4th down play.
Well, I tell you what, Skylar Snell came in the second half, and he's been a presence out there with Van Valkenburg.
Yes, he has.
It gives him two bookends
big
there.
play right here, 4th down for the Pioneers. Oh, and it falls incomplete. Intended for Doolin, but again goes through his hands, a little high there. And guys, I'd say without too much fanfare, that's probably going to do it here with 56 seconds to go and no timeouts.
I'm starting to hear the fat lady sing here.
She's certainly warming up back there. So.
And we're going to see a victory formation, I would predict, and a couple kneels. Probably two.
2 snaps.
Yeah, that's probably 2.
Yeah, it'll take 2 to get out of here, I think, depending on how quickly they set the ball.
Well, it's going to be pretty quick on this.
Yeah, sometimes the officials have some mercy and walk around a second, but
you figured the officials are thinking, okay, so do I want to influence the game?
they never want to do that.
No, never.
Okay.
Ask
so
Clay Matthews.
Last kneel down, and that's going to do it. You shouldn't say those kind of things when we're in an NFL stadium, Bill.
Dude, that's true. That's true.
You might not make it off the elevator.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
Just
so,
said the NFL hitman out.
Again, like I said, this is probably something you don't want to say.
Yeah.
On the NFL
So there's your final score, ladies and gentlemen. The Hillsdale Chargers 45 and your Malone Pioneers 35. Hillsdale moves to 4-1, guys, and Malone drops to 1-3. So I'd like to thank everybody for joining us, and hopefully we're going to have some wrap-up stats here before we get off the air. Doug, any thoughts here? Thanks again for coming down from the Cleveland area to be with us here for this game, and your thoughts on some Division II football here.
I thought it was a really entertaining game. I would say that it was exciting to watch some wide open offenses.
Yeah. And, GMAC has come a long way. It was a lot of those teams were NAIA teams that had joined the NCAA and formed this Division II conference, which for a long time Ashland was the lone Division II team in the state. And then when Malone and Walsh and Finley all joined the NCAA, it created a whole other division for Ohio athletes to attend school. And of course, Division III has been well documented in this state thanks to Mount Union and the Ohio Athletic Conference. But, just more opportunities, some scholarship opportunities for kids. I saw a bunch of kids here coming through this stadium. It's got to be a great sales point for Malone. I mean, you're not going to go to a school in Division II and play at a better situation. In some cases, even some smaller Division I's probably don't have facilities this good.
That's right. Yeah, again, we did talk about, though, that, Malone, is getting ready to build their own really nice facility on their own campus.
Yep.
Which I think will be a big selling point for them as well. Having this facility here, but also being able to play home games on their own campus will be a big selling point for them, too.
Yeah, I think so. And, you save this facility for your big games or, maybe at some point they get enough teams in their conference to have a championship game or something like that. And so you'll see those type of things. We'll see Tom Benson Stadium continue to move forward with the addition of the Stag Bowl here in a couple years and most likely hosting Division II playoff games and that. And then, the high school playoffs. That's going to probably, if it came to a vote of the coaches, the state high school playoffs may have a permanent residence here.
In Columbus?
No, here in Canton. Now, I don't, that's some people feel Columbus is the better place for it because it's central.
I'm sure Urban Meyer thinks it's the better place.
I'm sure he does. I'm sure Urban would like to have that in his.
Too.
But I think a lot of the times with that is.
Happy Valley's a nice place.
Yeah, and there's Rick picking Penn State by 7 again over there.
I'll tell you, one thing we know for sure, though, is that that's a debate that's going to continue.
Yeah.
As far as the state championship games.
For sure. And, I don't think they've ever really settled. They've talked about rotating it. They've talked about having a couple sites they rotate it.
Right.
But, if the NFL continues to put money in this facility, it's really a shame that it sits here and with Malone building their own facility, and I don't know where Walsh University sits. Of course, they share this facility
Right.
as far as building their own football stadium. But this is just a nice place for a football game, and
Oh, first class all the way. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
hate to see it sit empty for a big portion of the year. You're right. So
and
I
Kent
hope they can
McKinley does,
continue. Sure, sure.
and
But,
McKinley does use it, and we talked a
does
little bit.
Timken play here as well? Do you know?
I don't think they're around anymore, are they?
Or are they not?
Yeah, I think Timpkins, Canton South, Canton McKinley, Hoover, I think is still North Canton Hoover. I think is still around.
Okay.
But yeah, this area is not as big as during the heyday of the steel industry when
Sure. Oh yeah.
Massillon and Canton were economic wheels for the state. But again, we hope to get an opportunity to give you the stats, the wrap up for this before. Yeah. So we will see if Mike gets down here and delivers them.
Delivering stats. They're not going to conclude a broadcast without stats.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they.
Take some time.
We'll see. But we've got Hillsdale down here on the field. We've got friends and family meeting with the players from Malone. Of course, this is homecoming here today. And, just an entertaining game, a good GMAC game. Of course, we hope to continue our relationship with the GMAC, Rick, in the future and be back here for.
Yeah, I'll tell you, if we can see great football games like this, Bill, it'll be a
It'd be,
very fun relationship for us.
Yep, sure will be.
Very entertaining for our fans as well.
Yep.
This was a good game.
Yeah, it was a pretty good game.
All right, so some final stats here
There we go.
we'll bring to you. So, Bill, quick rundown for Malone. Again, Clayton finished the day 22 for 40, 196 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception. He was also the leading rusher for the Pioneers, had 74 yards on 19 attempts. Again, 3 rushing touchdowns for Clayton. Receiving-wise, Ashton Doolin, 9 targets today, 9 catches. And again, had that long of 30 and also 1 touchdown.
Yep.
Rushing, let's see here. Again, Clayton by far the leading rusher, like we talked about. Xavier Garland had 4 for 21. Keon Singleton had 6 for 63, so almost an 11-yard average there. Nice day on the ground for him.
Yep. Looking over at Hillsdale, Chance Stewart, 30 of 43, 450 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. David Graham in the rushing department, 16 carries, 87 yards, a touchdown. Casey O'Brien, mostly in the second half, 9 attempts, 54 yards, and a touchdown.
Well, and it seemed like Casey O'Brien had a lot more than 54 yards.
Yeah,
I
it
don't know about
did.
you guys, but just those are 54 big yards in that second half.
Yeah, he did a nice job, and we don't know. I'll just check the roster here, but you wonder sometimes why you don't see some players until later in the game. And in O'Brien's case, he is a junior from Troy, Michigan, so it's not like he's a freshman.
Right.
So of course you don't know other reasons that why he might not have been in the game. Receiving for Hillsdale, Connor Maloney just had a big game finding the open spots on the field. 7 catches for 143 yards, 1 touchdown. You've got Austin Sandusky, 6 catches for 62 yards, and then a quiet 173 yards on 9 catches for Trey Brock. Trey had 3 touchdowns. Kicking-wise, Joe Phillips was 1 for 1 on field goals, 6 for 6 on extra points. Punting, Jack Shannon had a 37-yard average. Kickoff returns, David Graham, 2 for 59. Austin Sandusky, 2 for 47. Punt returns, David Graham, 3 for 23. Nate Jones, 1 interception. Leading tackler for Hillsdale, it appears to would be number 39, Drake Temple, with 10 tackles. And
All right, so again, just some closing stats for us. So We want to thank you for joining us today on Campus Nation or on WZAA 106.9
The ZA.
Jeffersonville, the ZA. So, again, for my partner, Bill the Hammer Rayback, and our engineer and our entire crew today.
I think isn't it Chuck the Hammer?
No, Bill, I'm passing it off to you.
You become the razor?
I'm passing that off to you.
Chuck the razor?
That's right. We want to thank you for joining us today on the road as we travel and make our trip up north.
And next week?
Next week, Bill,
We're at Urbana.
Okay,
So we're going to, for the game against University of Virginia Wise.
Right. Yep. So big game for Urbana again after the big win last night or
Absolutely.
Thursday night. So, again, we'll see what happens in the Mountain East Conference.
Yep. So next week, 7. All right. No, that's an afternoon. That's a Saturday game. We're not used to doing that at Urbana.
That's right. We're usually there on Thursday nights.
That's
so.
right. So, and for
right.
Doug Edwards, thanks for joining us. Rick
That's right.
Phillips
Appreciate it, Doug.
and Marianne Dodson on the camera. Good night, everyone.